The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
Test, test. Okay, it's on. Let me make sure I can hear myself. I can hear myself. All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is April the 3rd, 2025. And if you want to listen to the show live, all you have to do is click on YouTube or type Talk Real Solutions in the search bar and it'll pull it up. Or you can call into the number at 717-908-1834 and hit the access code at 917324, and I'll get you on the microphone so you can say whatever it is you got to say. But I just ask, like I do every week, that if you do decide to speak, that you allow people to speak also and don't yell over people and don't say things that are going to get the YouTube channel strucken down, like the undisciplined Sarge and Mr. Solutions and others that come on here who's all in their feelings, got their panties all in a bunch and can't have a rational conversation without calling somebody the B word or using the F word or whatever you do when you get in your emotions. Don't do that. Do not do that because it will jeopardize the standings on YouTube. Other than that, I don't know where to go this week because I listen. I don't listen and I don't watch Donald Trump, but I can speak about him because he's an idiot. But I do know what's big news today is that the stock market is crashing. I'll just put the headlines over here so you guys can see it. The stock market is crashing because of Donald Trump's decision to enact tariffs, not only on Canada and Mexico, but the entire planet. He has made the United States more educated about what tariffs are. And I blame, MAGA, first and foremost, and the media for not highlighting the dangers of what this man is doing. This guy is on a straight path to destroy the United States of America, to cause some type of economic collapse. He wants high unemployment. He wants people out of work. And he wants the rich to prosper more than the middle or lower class. Now, why that is, what's up, East Coast? Why that is, I do not know, because I'm not rich. And I can't even imagine how rich people think and what they do with their money and all this kind of shit. But I know what's normal and I know what is not. And this is not normal. And what you're looking at is Donald Trump and his class of billionaires and millionaires up there in Washington making decisions financially and economically for everyday folks. And that is not working out. It is not working out because, like I said, I put the headlines up, and you can see NBC News, the United States stocks plunge after Trump's tariff shock to the global trade. The New Republic, Trump delusionally brags about tariffs as stock market crashes. The Guardian, Trump news at a glance, tariffs sends the United States markets tumbling to its worst day. And it goes on. It said the Dow, I don't even know what, nosedives 1,600 points, and the S&P and the NASDAQ drops the most since 2020. Now, these are all headlines from prominent newspapers. It ain't from no left-wing activists or no Democrat, because the actions that Trump took today caused the economy in the United States of America to belly flop. That's just the bottom line. But you got delusional Trump supporters and politicians and fake ass Fox News that are still promoting the propaganda that somehow this idiot knows what he's doing. As they're losing millions, tens of millions perhaps, of dollars, we know that Elon Musk have lost billions since Trump's got elected, because of the standings of Tesla has dropped. But as these people are losing their own money, it is beyond me. Well, I'll tell you what the reason is, but it is beyond me how an individual can still support Donald Trump after he is clearly causing them to lose money. I don't understand that. And the reason, y'all know my reason. The reason that all of this is happening, and the reason that Donald Trump has so much support amongst a certain demographic in America, is because he is white. That is the only that is the only reason. People, it's strange. People don't like to call people racist no more. When you say somebody is racist, it's always get played down and say, nah, that might not be the case. They might not be racist, but I'm telling you, they're fucking racist. And that's the only reason that people are supporting Donald Trump. There is no secret. There's no need to analyze why this guy has a solid 30% support amongst his base constantly across the United States of America, and that has been that way since his first nomination. His approval has always been around 29-30%, and it hasn't changed. That tells you something. And I don't know why people ain't analyzing this. I'm not a political analyst, so I may not be knowing what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure I do. That solid 30% support that Donald Trump has, those are some people that have power to affect changes, whether it's from the judicial, whether it's in police offices, whether it's in election offices, the politicians. They're all part of that 30%, and they're changing. It's the Christian right, it's the evangelicals. They are all part of that 30%, and they have influence in society. And that's why you're looking at this constant support of Donald Trump, because those racists, those pieces of shit, the 30% that I'm talking about, they see what the hell going on. They know that Donald Trump policies is racist, just as we talked about last week, as he was snatching down images and pictures of black people in Washington and demanding that the Department of Defense get rid of black portraits and all this kind of shit at the Pentagon. Those people see that. They see it just like you and I. There is no other reason to target black people, to target black images, other than you're racist. But they're so fucking stupid that whenever it is coded with the word DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, they think they have a real valid purpose to go after. When DEI, like I said over and over again, DEI just means black. DEI is the new N word. They might as well call you a nigga whenever they say that you are DEI. You can't say nigga no more, right? But you can clearly say DEI. You can say woke. You can say Black Lives Matter. You can say all of these things that means black, and they're using it in the same way that people back in the day used to use the term nigga. That is exactly what, and they're attacking it the same way as they attack black people back in the day. And that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. But like I said, the headline news today is that Donald Trump is crashing the stock market. The United States has came out and told the entire world that they're going to enact tariffs on everybody. Now, like I said, I didn't look at the news, so I'm going to go over this. Y'all have to bear with me as I stumble through this damn words, but I'm going to try to find out and get a gist of what's going on here with this NBC article. It says President Donald Trump's rolling out of sweeping tariffs on virtually all U.S. imports slammed into markets Thursday as investors issues empathetic rebuke of his efforts to reorder global trade. The broad-based S&P 500 index plunged nearly 5%, a roughly $2 trillion wipeout for its biggest one-day drop since June 2020, amid the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Dow Jones Industries average likewise has its worst day since the same 5 years ago, after the closing of 4% lower. The tech-heavy NASDAQ plummeted 6%, its biggest decline since March of 2020. And just from that paragraph there, let's put this into perspective. Understandably, in 2019 and 2020, the markets did terrible because of a global pandemic. A pandemic that was killing literally millions of people a day. Of course, that had an effect on the stock market, spending, trading, amongst all countries, right? That was a terrible time to live in. The world was afraid. People were dying. People close to us were getting sick. The hospitals were out of fucking shit to work with. They was asking for oxygen tanks, and they had I remember the image of the New York having this mass cemetery where they were burying people that died in their hospital, right? It was a terrible time. People were afraid, so the markets were affected by a global pandemic, a mass killer of human beings. Today, the stock market had the same effect to Donald Trump's proposal that it did in 2020 when millions of people were dying today. That is enough to tell you that this idiot is a calamity. He don't know what the hell he's doing. He's crashing the economics in this damn country. And the media and MAGA won't call this piece of shit out. I think what he's doing is treasonous. I think he should be locked the fuck up. I think that he's anti-American, and the Constitution with the 2020 the 25th Amendment gives you a way to get rid of a lunatic leader like in Donald Trump because he's insane. He's insane. The 25th Amendment gives you a remedy to get rid of of a lunatic president. Listen, I just googled it, and I'll give you in simple terms. The 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution outlines the procedures for presidential succession, who becomes president if the current one dies, resigns, or is removed, and addresses situations where the president is unable to fulfill their duties, ensuring a smooth transition of power. The 25th Amendment gives you a remedy to get rid of this crazy lunatic motherfucker and actually allow somebody with a more level head to govern this country. But that's just me. And because the Republicans are so good and they have basically made the Democrats afraid to mention remedies like I just spoke of, nobody is talking about it. Nobody is talking about how much of a fucking lunatic Donald Trump is. Nobody is talking about how he spends most of his presidency thus far on a goddamn golf course. Nobody is talking about as he's cozying up to Vladimir Putin, our enemy, and Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Nobody is talking about, I just seen a report today that Donald Trump put tariffs on everybody except for Russia and I think it was the Taliban. The fucking Taliban, the same motherfuckers he invited to Camp David. The quote unquote terrorists. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But if these people were serious about their job and they actually cared about the American people, they would put what I'm saying in some type of legal format, spell it out, take him to court, and continually beat him down in the court system before he replaces all the judges with the ones he fucking put in there. What's up, MJ? Before he switches out all the judges and we're not able to, through legal ways, get rid of this motherfucker because what he's trying to do is become a king. There was reporting this week that Donald Trump was thinking about a third term. That's how they roll out shit. They will say a little bit, and then next thing you know, as time goes along, that becomes the main plan. He actually spoke about a third term. It says retail stocks were some of the hardest hit Thursday, as Trump's tariffs on manufacturing powerhouse like China could climb as high as 54%. Nike shares fell 14%, while Lululemon shares were off 10%. Ralph Lauren lost 16%. All drillers also took massive losses, led by Valero Energy, whose shares sank 15%. The price of crude oil tanked nearly 7% on fears of the slowdown in global growth. And here's a graph of the S&P 500 index, and it shows you, well, we know Trump got elected and came to the White House in January, and you can see from February, March, and then now April until today, the bottom dropped out of the stock market. Now, what I want to know is whenever the fucking idiot shows up. See, I want to listen. Y'all people probably wonder why I entertain ABC or Mr. Solutions or Sarge. I like to hear their perspective and them justifying this fucking crazy shit. Because to me, I've already identified one crazy motherfucker, which is Donald Trump. So whenever I hear these people talk, it just confirms that these people are batshit crazy too. So that's all. It's just entertainment for me. So I like to hear Sarge or ABC, because ABC was one of these people that every time he opened his show or every time he opened his damn mouth, he would talk about how Joe Biden is tanking the stock market. Look at the stock markets. Pull it up. This is what he said. I think recently we just had that conversation when he went on his ivermectin horse pills. He just Joe Biden crashed the economy. Joe Biden crashed the economy. And I just want to hear what their perspective is. It's not that I'm going to give them any type of credit, but I just want to hear them defend Donald Trump. It's entertaining to me, that's all. Because they're listening to a crazy man. They're listening to somebody that's batshit crazy. And I have to remind y'all, this is what the President of the United States said on the campaign trail.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. The people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So
taking this from
but
television.
the people on
taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
They let that motherfucker, that guy, take control of the world economy. They let that crazy person have enough power to send the world economy into a downward spiral. They're eating the dogs person on a national stage, competing for the office that he hold now. This is what this crazy ass motherfucker said. So I'm not surprised that he's crashing the economy. I mean, it's not surprising to me because I've never given him credit for having any type of business acumen or knowing what the fuck he's doing when it comes to anything. So it's not surprising to me. But what I'm curious about is all of these people that prop Donald Trump up, how they're looking at it, right? Because I can already guess. I don't know if he's going to call in or not. I can already guess what the conversation is going to be. They're going to say, well, you know, we need to do bad before we can do good. That is a fucking psychological fucking program victim that's trying to make excuses for their abuser. That's exactly what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, you know, he can't turn it around in one day. He can't fix it overnight. No, motherfucker, the stock market and the economy was doing better than it is doing now when Joe Biden was in office. Was everything perfect? No. But were people losing their fucking jobs? Were people losing their fucking 401ks? Were people losing their investments? It just said these companies lost all this money today. Today. Trillions of dollars just fucking gone. Just gone. So I want to hear them try to explain this shit. But normally what happens whenever you get they damn back against the wall, they don't show the fuck up until they think they got something to brag about. And then they'll call in, well, what about this? What about Hunter Biden's dick pictures? Or what about Joe Biden being old, or some dumb shit that they gonna say whenever they think that they got whenever they think they got a point. Let's go on with this damn article. Okay, it says smaller businesses represented by Russell 2000 index were spared, with a benchmark closing at 6.6 Thursday. It lost more than 20% since the peak in November, officially bear market. The route is a harshly early verdict on Trump's historical tariff plan. Even before Wednesday's rollout, his whispering, no, his, what is that? Whipsawing trade policies had already unsteadied the investors, corporate executives, consumers, and retirement savers. Now markets are broadcasting profound pessimism about the policies of president who regained the office, promising immediate improvements to a flawed but sturdy economy. See how they're reporting this? To a flawed but sturdy economy. As the outlook darkens, analysts are increasingly raising their alarm about potential for a recession. See, this is what I say about the media. Whenever they said now markets are broadcasting a profound pessimism, no, the markets, the fucking bottom is falling the fuck out. Right? And I know that being pessimistic is seeing the negative, but what I'm saying is more emphasis need to be expressed on what is going on besides softening the word, softening the thought with a word like pessimism, right? And then it says they call it a flawed but sturdy economy when they're telling us that the markets are being pessimistic, right? Okay, if you're going to describe it that way, you need to somehow or another express that before this idiot made this decision, the economy was doing fine and people were making money and trillions of dollars was not being lost and people were not losing their goddamn jobs. Today, there were reports of massive layoffs with these companies. You know, I don't know. It says, as the outlook darkens, analysts are increasingly raising alarms about potentials for a recession. You guys are economists, or you're getting your reports from economists. You should be able to predict a recession instead of saying a potential recession. You should be warning the American people on what's to come. You should be telling us, prepare for this. You know, this is why I say I don't get why the media is soft shoeing what the hell Donald Trump is doing. That's you can't trust any media, to be honest with you, when it comes to Donald Trump. And I mean, Donald Trump is not afraid to just say what the fuck is on his mind, uh, even though it's bad for Americans. And the media shouldn't be afraid to actually say what the fuck it is. Let me open this line here. Hey, what's up, Jabbar?
Hey Tyrone, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's happening?
All right. No, I just calling to chime in a little bit, and I hear you whining still.
Go ahead. You a damn Trump, you a damn Trump supporter, ain't you?
Yes, I support his policies, his way of doing business, his way of handling
explain this bullshit. Explain this bullshit that's
business.
going on right now. Explain it. Explain it to me.
Well, what don't you understand, Tyrone? I mean, even before Trump left office, economists were predicting a recession. And why should the government have to tell anybody, or why should the media have to really tell anybody how, to prepare for a recession? I mean, a good steward of money should always be prepared for the unexpected.
Okay, so before we go on with the
I mean,
conversation,
do you want somebody to hold your hand 24/7?
okay, so before we go on with the conversation, we're gonna try to make an effort not to lie, okay? Because what you just said was a damn lie. Before Trump left
Okay.
office, nobody was preparing for a goddamn recession, Jabbar. That is a lie.
Nobody,
So let me
nobody
finish.
you were
Let me finish.
nobody you were listening to.
Okay, we're talking about the same economist that is reporting on the economy now. So nobody was preparing for a recession. That was a lie. But you used that lie to try to validate your support for a fucking idiot, Jabbar. So let's be real now. Can you explain what the fuck is going on when this man put tariffs on the entire planet and the stock markets crash? Can you explain that shit?
Yeah. Let me try to explain to you the best way I can. And I don't want to appear to be racist or against any particular ethnic group, but have you ever gone into a number of Chinese or Japanese restaurants and you don't see anybody other than Chinese and Japanese, working in those restaurants?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, what Trump is doing, well, let me say this. So, when you go into those establishments, you don't see anybody other than them working. But when you go into corporate America, you do see corporate America hiring Japanese and Chinese people.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, there comes a time when you're going to have to say to these Japanese and Chinese restaurants, hey, look, we hire your people in our corporate America. You need to start hiring people other than Japanese and Chinese people in your restaurants, because we know people of different ethnicities are eating your food. So all you're doing is taking and benefiting from the economy that we've built with multiracial people. So now when Trump put these Trumps on these different countries, he's saying the same thing. Hey, look, we have, you all are charging us tariffs. Okay, we got the largest economy in the world. You charge us tariff, but when we charge you tariffs, it's an issue. Okay, the world is developing, so these governments, they're going to have to start doing and conducting their business in a way that benefits their people. Okay? Because if we allow these other countries to develop, they're going to use our technology, our factories, and everything else to run us out of business. And that just can't happen, Tyrone. That just cannot happen, especially when we pretty much gave them a foot up. So all Trump is doing is saying, hey, guys, wait a minute. We need to make these tariffs reciprocal, or you need to drop them. Now the playing field is level because you all have developed to a point where you need to compete in the real world like every other country. You gotta step up your game, because we're not going to be the piggy bank of the world anymore, because our citizens are paying high prices for everything, because in a sense we're subsidizing other countries. And it's got to stop. It just can't go on, Tyrone. It just can't.
Okay.
So I hope I at least gave you something to think about.
Well, you didn't. You just made me like 5%, 20, maybe 30% dumber listening to your explanation, brother, because you do not know what you're talking about. And I'm going to go in reverse order. You do not know what a tariff is, sir. You don't know what a tariff is, sir. Because tariffs, for instance, if the export of a country is steel, that country has enough steel to be exported, right? And if the United States don't have steel, this is just a example. I know we're able to make steel, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just using an example. If the
Okay.
United States don't have steel, then the United States will tariff that product. You see what I'm saying? Now the United States may have tomatoes, and that other country might not have tomatoes. So that country will tariff the tomatoes to go to their country. So when you're saying that we're Donald Trump has fucked your brain up. When you're saying that other countries are charging us tariffs and we need to recharge tariffs, it's not based on that, because every country do not have the same product and services. Do you understand that an Asian company is going to have different materials than a European country? Canada is going to have different materials and products and services than America. Mexico is going to have different materials, products, and those are the things individually that get tariffed. You see what I'm saying? And whenever I don't want to be wrong, so I'm going to Google it. Okay, it said tariffs in a simple term. Is a tax that is imposed by the government on goods and services imported from another country, essentially making those imported goods more expensive. So let's go back to my steel example. If Donald Trump want to tax a said country for steel, whatever the United States uses for steel will cost more money to the consumer. If Donald Trump, wait, let me finish.
Pause.
Go ahead.
Okay. You're telling the half truth, because yes, any imported steel will cost more. Now,
No.
we have
No.
wait.
Okay,
We
go
have our
ahead,
own
go
steel.
ahead.
So if the buyer of steel in America, if they know that if they buy an import steel, it's going to cost them more than American made steel, then they're gonna. I mean, I would buy American steel.
For this example, America don't have no steel. America has to get steel from another country. So that's not an
Well,
option.
why are you setting up the example and setting all the parameters when in reality America does have steel?
Okay, I just wanted to give you an idea of what tariffs. Okay, let's scratch that, because I know that I'm.
Yeah,
Listen.
You gonna scratch a whole lot. You gonna scratch a whole lot of stuff tonight.
Listen,
Go ahead.
You are a business owner, Jabbar. Okay, you are a business owner, and you have pineapples that come from another country. You have bananas that come from another country. You have coffee beans that come from another country. This is what your company does. Okay, you sell pineapples, bananas, and coffee beans, right? And you sell those products to your customers at $5. Okay, the reason you sell them at $5 is because you can get them imported from another country for $2.50. So you have a 50% markup whenever you sell to your customers. You're making $2.50. You're buying it for $2.50. It's all profit for you, right? You tracking with me? Now, what if that country that you're buying your products from, let's use the coffee beans, instead of $2.50, they charge you $4 now? Are you still going to sell your product for $2.50?
No.
What are you going to sell your product for?
I'm gonna mark it up.
Okay, right there. What you just wait, nigga. What you just said is the problem with Donald Trump's tariff, because that markup. Wait a minute. That markup of $4 is the tariff. That is the tariff, and because you got marked up to $4, now you're going to charge your consumers more money. That's what Donald Trump has done, Jabbar. Why can't you see that?
Right, but here's the catch. If I go in the store and I see bananas at $8 It's up to the consumer to say yes or no. If they
Oh
say
Jesus.
no, then the banana's gonna go bad, and I'm gonna tell my import, hey, look, man, I ain't buying no more bananas from you for a while. I may have to source them from somewhere else, or we just ain't gonna have no bananas,
Okay. Well,
and they ain't gonna have, and they ain't gonna, and wait a minute, and they're not gonna be able to sell bananas. So that means they're gonna have to lay off their people on their people who
well,
produce their bananas.
that's true.
So now at that point, here's what Donald Trump got you dummies. At that point is when the negotiations start, because they got to make a tough decision. And Donald Trump is saying, okay, look, you're gonna lay off people. Y'all gonna suffer more than us. Yeah, it's gonna be a little painful for my people, but not as like it's gonna be for yours. So what do you want to do?
Okay.
Sell it to
Listen,
somebody
What are you
else.
gonna do, Tyrone?
We gotta
What you
touch
gonna
the
do, Tyrone?
we gotta touch the other markets.
well, what's up, Jay? But
What's
but
going on?
but your example is not how it actually works, because people
Okay,
need, listen to what I'm saying. People need these products and services, right? People need to
they
buy
don't need them.
listen to what I'm saying. They need to buy washing machines. They need to buy refrigerators. You need to buy clothes. You need to buy food. You need, so it's not going to be an option of, if it's too high, well, I just can't buy it. That just don't happen. You see what I'm saying? Because people need to buy shit. This is capitalism. That's what the fuck we're
Right,
in. Is we need to
right,
buy shit. We need to buy
right,
gas.
Tyrone.
We need to buy gas.
Right.
I mean, but listen.
I mean, what's the
So,
end game?
I'm
What
gonna
is
let Jay. I'm gonna let
how do
Jay.
we
but
win?
I'm
My
gonna let
brother.
the
Jabbar.
end
I'm
game
gonna
is
let
when.
Jabbar respond, and then I'm gonna let Jay New York go. Go ahead, Jabbar.
Okay, so again, it gets back to the consumer. When the consumer refuses to pay a high price for an import, they are going to seek American product, or a product like an American product. If those products are too high, they're not going to buy at all. So everybody's going to suffer on both sides of the table. And once it gets to a point, I hear an echo, Tyrone.
Alisa, that's your line.
Um,
Mute your line for a second. But go ahead, Jabbar.
okay, so when everybody gets to a point of suffering, we can suffer more than these smaller countries. Okay, again, once everybody starts to suffer, we're going to have to make a decision. Both sides are going to say, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to remove these tariffs or reduce the tariffs for the sake of the United States and the sake of the other countries? That's what it's going to come down to, Tyrone.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm
So
gonna
that,
let
and wait a minute, let's say this last thing.
go
So
ahead.
if Trump did not implement these tariffs, everybody will continue to do what they're doing, and
Okay, and what I got to
things
insert
can't
this right
continue
here.
to go that way.
I got to insert
Go
this right
ahead.
here. What they were doing was just fine, Jabari. There was nothing wrong with the economy. People was making money. So you're telling me that Donald Trump, uh, uh, it is not okay for people to not be fired. It is not okay for the stock markets to grow. That is what you're telling me. So everything, I mean, Donald, listen, Jay, I'm gonna let you go. But the tariffs is a boogeyman. A tariff is a boogeyman that he found talking points around to convince people like you that he's legitimate in what he's doing. I don't know how to put that, but Jay New York, go ahead, and then Elisa, you can go after Jay.
Hey, what's going on?
What's
So
happening,
I
man?
just
Ain't heard
wanted
from
to
you in a
say, 'cause
while. You been
I
all
called
right?
it in. Yeah, everything good, man.
Okay.
Hope everything's good on your side. So, I just wanted, because I heard when he was speaking, I don't want to come in too early because I know you have to, speak. But I just say this, like, if his intentions is genuine, right? If they were, I don't think they are, but let's just say his genuine is for America to ultimately, make the money and the profit. I think that just the way he's going about it is bad. So, there's a way to negotiate. It's not, he's using like almost like mafia tactics, and like bullying, or that's not the way you do it with at least your allies and things like that when things been going good. Certain things, if it's going good, leave it alone. You check it, If everything is looking right, leave it alone. If there's something that looks off, then you could address it and maybe do that behind the scenes. It doesn't got to get public, and it could get resolved. And I think so. The ultimate thing would be for everybody to win. And when you said suffer, right? So why should we even have to suffer? Because supposedly the ultimate goal is, right, this country is going to get back all the manufacturing, which that's not going to happen. It's going to be more assembly factories, if anything, right? And at the very end, you got to be realistic. Are they really going to pay the Americans what their wage that they deserve to do these jobs? Are they going to pay them more than what they're paying over there? Are these companies going to be able to take that loss? They say, well, we're doing fine now, and then now he's disrupting all this stuff, trying to force people to come and do business here. And it's going to be, I think, more of collateral damage than the gain. So ultimately, whatever ends up being the result, we don't lose so much money. Now we're trying to gain that back. So that's what I see. I try to keep my emotions away from that and just look at it logically and see, from an action and then a result and how you go about it. There's ways of going about things and fixing things. Of course, there's issues. They need to be addressed. There's a way to address them, and then you get them resolved some way or another, right? And then it doesn't have to, I don't think, get to this point. But, I mean, I see economists that are professional people. I'm looking at CNBC and all these other Bloomberg and all these other channels that are just talking about the markets. They're not trying to get political. They're not political. They're just talking about markets. They're not saying, this one is, the way he's acting is, we don't like it. They talking about, well, the actions of this man or persons is resulting in this. And what they saying in the stock market is not looking good. I was looking, yesterday, the markets, majority of the markets around the world were in red. Even the Bitcoin and all that virtual money was mostly in red. So, I mean, I just say this, there's a way about going about things, and that's the ultimate thing. It's, again, we already know we can go back and forth about him and what you think is good and what's not, but people that are experts and people around the world are saying this is not resulting in a good thing for anybody. So even the U.S. is going to take a loss. The other countries are going to take a loss. We all losing. And so we shouldn't go through pain when it could be resolved a different way. I don't think that that's the way that we should be able to negotiate with countries that we've been doing business with if things were off, say, hey, we got to fix this, but we don't got to get all public and get crazy and put threats because we're trying to work together. I help you, you help me. You say, oh, well, they take a loss or they feel it worse than us. Yeah, but we losing money. They losing money, we losing money, people are feeling it in this country. We shouldn't go through no pain that we shouldn't have to go through. I'm just saying. I'll leave it there.
All right. Miss Elisa, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, sis?
I'm doing okay, Tyrone. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm doing okay, Tyrone.
Yeah, okay, but you got an echo for some reason.
I do?
Yeah,
let me keep talking. Tell me if you still hear the echo. Okay, let me hang up because, see, I heard a stupid conversation that you were having, Brother Harris. So let me hang up and I'll call back and see if let's get rid of the echo.
All right. And I agree that maybe Jabbar don't well, I know for sure you don't understand what tariffs are. Because when I gave you the example of coffee, you didn't realize that your imported coffee bean being raised is going to have an effect on your customers, even though you said that you would raise the price on your customers. And I just use that individual item because that's as simple as you can get it. That is as simple as you can get it. But Alicia, your mic is open. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now, Tyrone? Am I still have an echo?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yes,
We,
it's
we'll
still an
deal.
echo.
We'll deal with it. It's okay. Go ahead. We'll deal with it.
No, we're not gonna deal with it. Well, let me
Do
say
you
this
wait?
real
Let me
quick,
ask you
and
this.
I'll hang up.
Do you have your computer on or something like that? I don't.
No, hold on. Let me go. Let me check my earphones and Bluetooth and see what's
Let
happening.
me say something, Tyrone, while she's checking her out.
Yes, sir.
I check it. Do you sure? Are you sure it's my phone?
Okay, I don't hear it.
Hello, hello, hello.
I was listening for the echo. I don't hear it now.
Okay, how did you still hear it now? Let me know if you still hear it. Do you hear the
No,
echo? Do you hear it
I
here?
don't. I don't hear it. Go ahead. Hold on,
Yeah,
Jabbar.
Okay.
I don't
Let
hear
You
it
were
either.
Elisa. Hold on, Jabbar. Let Elisa go
you
ahead.
were having a very stupid conversation. I think we can all agree that tariffs that's a tax. That's a tax on the citizens. Real quick, if you go back in history, that's how the government used to collect taxes. You go back to the Hoover days, pre-Hoover. They collected taxes through the people through tariffs, and the wealthy people paid income taxes. And then after the Great Depression, we had Hoover Towns and all of those different things. It was a hot mess. And I will add, Donald Trump is a big fan and an admirer of Herbert Hoover and some of the presidents before them. Okay, now let me finish. And after the Great Depression and everything that went on, they decided that everyone was going to pay federal income taxes and not just allow the people to pay taxes, which is tariff taxes. Okay, let's put history aside. So that's what we're all doing. Part of the problem is the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes. So we're not going to get caught up in that. You all were speaking about steel, and I knew the answer, but I wanted to look up. You were just using steel as an example to explain your point, actually, Tyrone.
Right. Right.
But since you all were discussing steel, the United States does not produce the amount of steel that it needs. We don't. We don't produce the amount of anything that the country needs. We don't. And steel happens to be one of them. And we export in steel from other countries, Canada, different other places like that, because we don't produce enough of that. So when you have a tax on all of it, people can say buy American. It's not enough American to buy. I'm trying to talk real simple economics here, and I'm not an economist. I'm an accountant, but I'm not an economist. So I'm going to try to keep it simple. So we don't create enough of anything that this entire country needs. And since the whole country has gone global, and with trading and things like that, all countries charge some sort of tariffs. They do. It depends on the country and it depends on the product. But nothing like what we're seeing now. You're going to start a global trade war, and it's going to be a hot mess. And a lot of countries that are poorer than the United States, they're going to really suffer a lot from this. And it's not that we were sitting up here subsidizing everybody. This country has been taking advantage of everybody, period. A lot of the stuff that we import into the country, some of the items that we don't manufacture from smaller, poorer countries, we were taking advantage of that anyway with the amount of money that we were paying in the global market. So they had a right to charge some type of tariff on that, but it wasn't a large tariff. And just to the caller that you were speaking to, the amount of tariffs that Trump has placed on these countries, it's not the same amount of tariffs that they were charging the United States. That is a lie, a bold-faced lie that the Republicans are telling their ignorant party. I'm going to pull up an article, I'm not going to do it just yet, on how they came up with the numbers. And it was the most ridiculous way how they came up with the numbers of the tariffs to place on these countries. It is not what they were charging us. Now, as we know, tariffs are taxed All this is going to do, because we do not produce everything that we need, the American people is going to pay far more for certain items than we used to pay. And then I saw someone today say that it's going to help bring more manufacturing. But we had the CHIPS Act. That was one of Biden's. That was a good thing that he was able to do, because that was going to help bring back manufacturing to the United States, but in a more responsible way. Everything with these tariff wars is not going to bring not one company back to build infrastructure. I will add, you will have to build infrastructure for that. But with the CHIPS Act, they was going to subsidize that for them to come back and subsidize building infrastructure so we can bring more of the products that we need that are being produced elsewhere back here to the United States. You're not going to bring anybody back. This is not going to happen. And anybody thinking that is a fool, because the country is in such chaos. And as long as we have the administration that we do have, if you have a company, you would be nuts to come back here, because anything, they're not coming back. Manufacturer, that's it. Manufacturing, that's it. Any hope that we have for them to come back, they would be a fool to come back to the United States. First of all, like you said, Tyrone, they don't want to pay the wages that they would have to pay the American public. If that's what a lot of this laying off from the government and different things like that, that's what that's about. You have a lot of desperate people that will accept smaller wages, and getting rid of all of the things that were on manufacturing and companies and stuff to help to keep the people safe and things like that. They're gutting and getting rid of that so that the manufacturers can manufacture anything they want to, and they do not have to use regulation. That's what this deregulation is about. So they can deregulate and create anything they want to, any way that they want to. It's for the rich. That's what this here is. That's what these tariffs and that's what these taxes are. It's for the rich. They're going to have to pay that tax cut that they're planning to give them. They don't want to borrow it all and add all of it to deficit, but they're going to end up have to add trillions of dollars to the deficit to pay these rich people to do this tax cut that they want. They're going to have to. They're just going to have to. But by cutting all of these things, and with these taxes that they're getting ready to tax the hell out of us with these goddamn tariffs, that is a way to help to do that. I'm not getting what people don't get about that. This is not the way to do it. You're not going to attract manufacturing to come back to the United States. As a matter of fact, you, in a sense, you put up a repellent for them to even consider coming back to the United States. It's not going to happen. It's a tax. This tax simple. We do not produce everything that this country needs. And if you have a free and fair trading global market amongst all of the countries, that is good for everybody. That is good for us. That is good for the other countries. When the world is turning the way that it's supposed to, that is good for everyone. And then Trump is going to say we're all going to get rich because of all of the tariffs. He keeps saying we're going to all be so rich. It's not going to matter because of the tariffs that we're putting on everything. No one is going to be rich. That is a lie. And whoever believes that is a fool. This fool is trying to take us back to Hoover time, where the people, it's just going to be devastating. Not just for us. It's going to be devastating for the entire world. But you know who it will be good for? BRICS. Because they're all tuning up over there on that
Tyrone,
side.
how long are you going to let this go on, Tyrone?
Let what go on? Excuse me?
What you're saying. What you're saying.
You can't. What?
She was just
saying?
speaking, man.
What is
Hold on. She was speaking.
No.
You get your turn.
All
Go ahead.
What's going on? What is he allowing to go on? Just because you're stupid, what is he allowing to go on?
Have you heard of Taiwan Semiconductor?
Yes.
Okay, you know they're building a plant here?
And how did that come about? No. Answer the question.
Largest semiconductor company
How
in the world.
did that come about? How did that come about? How did that come about? Did you not hear me mention something about a minute ago? No, not through the tariffs. That's a lie.
The avoidance
That's
of
a lie.
tariffs. Through the avoidance of tariffs.
That's a lie. Who set that up for them to come?
Hey, who set it up? It was negotiated.
Who set it up?
It was negotiated.
But who negotiated it?
The negotiators. I don't know their name. You tell me. You got the answer. Tell me.
Chips Act. I said the Chips Act.
Okay, so
who negotiated? Who negotiated the Chips Act? I'm asking you.
The Biden administration. But they couldn't. Well, why is it that Taiwan? Wait a minute. Why is it that Taiwan Semiconductor only decided to come here?
Chips Act? Who just killed the Chips Act? I'm asking a question.
You tell me.
Trump.
You got the answer.
Trump.
Okay, and
who killed the Chips Act? Trump. That was one of the best things. What do you mean? And you came on here talking about you interrupted, and just so you don't know, I am Tyrone's. I can't even think of the word. I am Tyrone's co-host. That's why I get to talk. Okay, so you came on here talking about Trump is doing this and this and that. The Chips Act was going to make what you just brought up. Because see, you talking in circles as you're talking out of your ass. You don't even know who did what.
Well, the Chips Act and the tariffs are two different issues, ma'am. They're two different issues, ma'am.
We're talking about
Are you aware of that?
We're talking about
the
tariffs.
Chips. We're talking about
you
tariffs.
brought up semiconductors, and I said, who negotiated that? You brought it up, not me. You brought that up. I was talking about tariffs. You brought it up.
You were talking about companies not coming to America, and I'm telling you, the largest semiconductor plant is coming to America
Who negotiated that?
Under the Trump administration.
No. Who negotiated that?
I just told you it was the Biden administration, but.
So what are you talking about?
They were not going. Wait a minute.
Anyway,
I'm about to tell you.
I am just about to tell you. I don't want you about to tell me that
because they were not going. They were not.
Hold on, Jabbar.
They were not going to come here until they were not going to come here until the tariff.
Okay, Jabbar. Let her finish.
That's my point. My point, Tyrone. They were not going to come here without the tariff.
I hear you, but let her finish, and then I'll let you go, and then while we got this pause.
So what I was going to say.
While we got this pause, let me check this line right quick. Who's this unknown caller?
Go ahead.
Maze.
Okay, Maze, hold on. Okay, Elisa, you go. Jabari, you go, and then Maze, you go.
And I was just about that was a stupid conversation. Tariffs are taxes, and this man is trying to take us back to who's the game. I'm done.
All right, Jabari, what you got?
Well, every day you go buy something, you're gonna pay a tax.
Yes.
And the tariffs are taxes or duty paid on a particular class of imports or exports. That's what a tariff is.
Yes.
The tax is different. Okay? So again, the tariffs are for a specific purpose. It's for a specific purpose.
Okay, but listen, brother, and Maze, I'm gonna let you go. Whenever they pay their tariffs, right, that is the cost that the company has to pay for that product, which could either raise the price or lower the price, right, depending on what the tariff is. But right now we're talking about tariffs being raised. So whenever they pay that tariff, that product is going to cost that company more. And just like we use with your coffee beans, whenever that product costs the company more, that cost is going to get passed on to the consumer in the form of a tax or higher prices or whatever. It's going to raise that product the consumers cost for what they're paying for. And Donald
If
Trump,
if they choose to buy it, if they choose to buy it.
okay, there's certain things that we need. And like Elisa said, we don't manufacture, we don't make a lot of stuff in this country, and that stuff is imported. The reason that we know it's imported is because Donald Trump is talking about putting tariffs on the shit that come into this country. So we need that
Right.
shit. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Let Mays go.
Right.
And
Right.
then,
So if I wait a minute, if I have a business, Tyrone, if I have 1 million customers
mhm.
and you want to put your product in my store, you gonna pay me something. You gonna pay me fairly.
Okay, Mays, I'm gonna let
And
you
that's
go,
the
but let me
tariff.
ask you this right here.
Okay.
That's the tariff. You can't get
Let me
around that, Tyrone.
hold on. Do the United States make, I don't know, cameras, or computer monitors,
Cars.
or electronics, the way China makes them? The answer is no. Do United States make?
Exactly.
Wait a minute. Do United States make that cell phone that you talking on to me right now? The answer is no. They don't manufacture that
Correct.
shit here. But next year, when your
Correct.
phone run out or it get old, you gonna need a new damn phone. And then whenever you go to get that goddamn phone, instead of paying $200 or $300, you're gonna be paying $800 for a goddamn phone that used to cost $200. That is the type of fucking cost that you're talking about getting passed on to the consumer that is unnecessary because of these goddamn tariffs. Now, I don't know what else to tell you, and I don't know how to give you another example, but this shit is not good. But go ahead, Mace.
Oh, I wanted to ask him a question. Do you know that some of the plants are closing because they're not owned by Americans? You know, like Toyota and all those different parts. They make part in one country, or either this country make part and send it back over to them. So now it's going to cost money because of the tariffs for that. And when you get your car tires and all the other stuff that's not made in America, you would be paying, like say you're paying $400 for a tire. Now you're paying $800 for a tire. So that's what the tariffs is costing. I don't know what kind. If you know that America jobs went away, where did they go? Into these same countries where he put tariffs on. So the CHIPS Act was supposed to be bringing jobs back. It's supposed to be more than one job. It's supposed to be a whole lot of jobs. But I'm saying, but they were not owned by Americans. Just like if you eat ham, the ham company don't even belong to America. It belongs over to some other country. So when you get ready to eat some ham, if you eat ham for Easter, you're gonna be paying a big price for that ham in any port that you eat. So the tariffs is gonna bring you a price like that. Maybe you'll understand then. Since you don't know.
Okay, so what's your question? What's your question? You said you had a
if
question.
the jobs left America and they're not here now, so when they send them back over here, how much you think we're gonna have to pay when we get it?
When the job leaves America,
No, America, they already left. You know, like
and
GE,
then they come back.
they're not coming back. So how are you going to get, like GE went to Mexico. It used to be here, but it's not here anymore. So now if you want to get something from GE, you got to get it from Mexico. So Mexico got a tariff, so you're going to be paying a bigger price. What's made in America anyway? That's what I'd like to know. Could you tell me? If you read tags and stuff, everything made somewhere else, not here.
Okay, so is no way. Whatever tariffs are not going to be on everything. To my understanding, it's going to be on specific products from specific countries. So now, again, like I was telling Tyrone, if I need something that is made in Mexico and it's higher here, then I got two choices. Either I can not buy it, or I can source an American source or another source for that product that may have that may cost less or have a lesser tariff on it.
Do you not realize
those are the options?
Hold on, brother. Do you not
realize?
Do you not realize that everything is not made in America? There's like Elisa just said, and May just said.
I realize that, Tyrone.
Wait a minute, hold on. There's a lot of stuff that's not made here. What if the product that you get looking for is not made here? What you gonna do then?
If it's not made here, then you're gonna have to. If you need it, you're gonna have to buy it from a foreign source
and pay the price, pay the high price, right?
Say you got a car and your
okay,
car.
So wait, hold on. So you agree that you will have to definitely pay that high price, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now that we agree,
ain't no getting around that.
Yeah, there ain't no getting around that. I agree with you. Now that we agree that you will have to pay that higher price, that higher price is unnecessary because Donald Trump he had no reason to raise the prices of shit. Do you understand that?
I hear what you're saying, but there is a necessity to raise prices because our businesses were getting stiff when they try to sell, for instance, cars to Germany. Germany won't buy American cars, but you look in America, all you have is Mercedes. Well, not all you have, but you see a lot more Mercedes than you see Chevrolets over in Germany. So what that does, that hurts the American auto industry as well as their employees, as well as everybody that supports a GM plant in the United States.
When you're talking about automobiles, that's a whole different can of worms. And I'm gonna check. Let me check this. Who's this unknown caller first?
The guy you need to hear, Tyrone.
Okay, hold on for a minute, Sarge. Hold on. And who's this unknown caller?
How you doing, Sarge?
Who's this?
Great, man. You're doing a good job. Keep up good work.
Okay, hold the fuck on.
You know what?
Can I run my damn show? Hold on for 1 minute. Let me see who's on the damn line. Who's this other unknown caller?
This is Miss Letty, and I
okay, Miss Letty, but let me say this right here first. When we're talking about automobiles, Jabbar.
I know, but could you talk about exactly how tariffs work? The whole process.
Well, I'm gonna let you do that, but I just want to get this out. When you talk about automobiles, Jabbar, the reason that you see only Mercedes or only BMWs or whatever, because they have higher standards for their fucking roads over there. Their cars are safer. When it comes to America, just allow these pieces of shit cars to get on their goddamn road and bust down, blow up, tear up. They don't pass the crash test goddamn time. But those standards are different across the seas. But
Well, Tyrone,
go
Tyrone,
ahead.
can I add this? He is right. I agree with him as it relates to the automotive industry. A lot of countries have been unfair with not importing more American cars because of what you said, Tyrone.
Mm-hmm.
But he is correct about the automotive industry. But everything else, no.
All right.
Can I say something? Mercedes plant in America.
You what?
I think it's in Georgia. And I think they got one in Alabama, too.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to see no Chevy truck on the road in Germany. You just ain't going to see that shit.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
you're not, because they don't want them. They don't want them.
All right, so let me move down the line here. Now, Sarge, I got you on the line, but I know that you want to address some things, so I'm going to let Miss Lady go, and then we'll get you after Miss Lady.
Okay, Tyrone, have you ever addressed exactly how tariffs work?
Well, I tried to. I don't think I'm getting it across, so if you want to explain it, you can.
I think, now I'm not sure, but maybe Elisa knows. Sarge, he screams and I did. Miss Lady, I did. It's not going. It's not going over. I did. Okay, so so you can interject if I'm not on track, but it's my understanding. I'll do an example. Say there's a business manufacturer in China, and they're selling widgets for $1 a piece. And they're going to ship those widgets here. Well, if the tariff is imposed on China for those widgets, say of 25%, that means they're only going to make 75% for that widget. They're going to lose money. So they're going to increase the cost of that widget that they're selling here, say maybe to $1.25%. And then the person buying that widget for $1.25% now has to sell it to us at that inflated cost. The bottom being $1.25, where previously we could buy it for $1. And
I'm saying that's a 25% tariff that has been placed.
Yes. Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. That's simple. That's it.
So that's what I just wanted to talk about. And yes, nothing, very, very little is manufactured here. So I don't know how you're going to go country shopping to buy your necessary products that you need and think you're going to get around not paying tariffs. That's not going to happen.
Mm. He needs to go
Not
to the store and everything that's made in different countries.
Let me say this. In my profession, one in particular supplier that we use for furniture, okay? And I asked this question today at our sales meeting. I'm like, is such and such manufacturer going to hit us with tariffs? My manager's like, right now, they are going to absorb the cost of the tariffs. And the reason why I suspect they can do that is because of the profit that they're probably already making. So just because there's a tariff doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pass it on, especially if that corporation is profitable already.
Well, Jabari, you know what? I'm a fair broker.
You know what, Jabari? I'm going to say this. Most of them sure didn't go by that standard over the past few years since COVID, because the prices of food, they've made tremendous profits, has not gone down. The price of gas has not gone down. So even though the manufacturers that you all use may not be doing it, or your place of employment, but I doubt if most are going to follow that, because they're always looking to make more profit.
Listen, and I'm an honest broker here. I'll say congratulations to you and who you work for. If y'all can, if your boss can,
I say it too.
Can do that, and I'm not hating on them, but but everybody can't do that. And I just Googled layoffs and firings because of tariffs, and as you can see, everybody can't do that because Stellantis lay off 900 workers, and then here's another headline. There's a whole bunch of people laying off people because of these tariffs, Jabari. I mean, you where you work at, great, good job, but that ain't the case for everybody. Huh?
You know what?
I mean, the company I work for. I mean, we are experiencing tariff increases from other manufacturers, but I would agree with the lady who just said, you know, a lot of companies aren't going to absorb the tariffs. I mean, that's obvious.
So, and that's where the conversation needs to be.
Yeah.
We don't need to be talking about your company that can absorb it. Do we need to have a conversation about the people that's going to be hurt because of the tariff? Okay, go ahead, Elisa, and then after Elisa, Sarge, I'm gonna get you.
But Tyrone, these companies, it's not just one person making the decision. They have stockholders they have to answer to, and eventually they're gonna bitch about the profits. I'm not talking about his company. I'm talking about other companies. Not one person who can make. I don't know what's going on with this country. I can't speak on that. His company, but most companies, not just one person. They have stockholders.
But
and they're going to be looking at the profits that's not coming in.
Oh, that's why they can do it. It's because they'll have.
That's why they can do it.
Wait a minute, y'all got a lot of.
Because that's what happened with Target. The stockholders wanted them to get rid of DEI. It wasn't just that. It was other things going on. But what is the other company that's their stockholders? The other big box store that's really bringing in the money and stuff now. Because their stockholders said, no, we're not going to abandon DEI. It's really up to the stockholders.
That was Costco. Costco. And people are running to buy from Costco now.
All right, guys.
Yeah, because the stockholders said we wasn't going to do that.
All right, so let me let Sarge get in here and say what he got to say. How you doing tonight, Sarge?
Oh, I'm enjoying this very much. I even enjoyed Jay from New York, who made an astonishingly rational examination of the issue, even though I don't agree with it. But he wasn't crazy. It made a little bit of sense from his point of view. So I got to admit, this is a pretty good discussion. But look here, man. I'm going to concede right off the bat before we go another further that this is a risky path that Donald Trump is traveling down. It certainly has the potential to backfire. There's no guarantee that it will succeed. And yes, it is fraught with many dangers. But at the end of the day, if he is even marginally successful, it will be something that will redound to our economic benefit in the long term. Because yes, in the short term, there's going to be higher prices. And yes, there's going to be some pain. But the pain is targeted at a specific sector of the economy that deals with imports, not the general economy. 10% of the United States GDP is based on imports. 15% of the world's economy exports to the United States. So they have a bigger stake in the game than we do. And yes, we have a stake in it too. But let me get to the details of 2 points I'd like to make. One point is the issue of whether or not this will cause manufacturers to relocate to the United States. And the second issue is the entire rationale for the tariffs in the first place. Because a lot of you people seem to misunderstand that big time. Whether you agree with it or not, you ought to at least understand what it's intended to do and why it is being done. You don't have to agree that he should be doing it, but you should at least understand the basis for it. And most of you don't sound as if you do. Now, when it comes to these businesses that are relocating to the United States, now I'm not saying the Trump tariffs are directly responsible for all of it, because some of it was in the process before Trump took office. But there is no doubt that the Trump tariffs are accelerating the trend. One of those companies is Campari. They make booze. They make alcohol. They're a very big European alcohol exporter. And they said that because of the tariffs, they are accelerating their plans to relocate more to the United States. Compal Electronics, the Taiwanese contract laptop maker, is going to expand into the United States. And they said Texas is a leading candidate for it. Admittedly, they have not finalized the decisions. But again, they cited the tariffs as a reason for greater urgency to do so. Essity makes a lot of paper. They're big time, huge. They're like the equivalent of that paper products manufactured in the United States. What's their pine, whatever? They got the pine trees or something. Anyway, they make toilet tissue, towels, paper towels. They're really big in Europe. They say they're going to relocate as a result of the tariffs, directly as a result of the tariffs. Honda is doing the same thing. They're going to make their next generation hybrid in Indiana instead of Mexico. They want to avoid potential tariffs on their top-selling car models. Hyundai Motors is coming into Georgia. Inventec, which is another Taiwanese company that makes chips, is evaluating locations for U.S. investment. They want to do it in Texas because it's nearer to Mexico and the power infrastructure. LG Electronics, South Korea. They're going to set up manufacturing refrigerators, washing machines, dryers in Tennessee. LVMH, they're a luxury conglomerate. They haven't made definite plans, but they're definitely seriously considering bulking up their production capacities in the United States. Samsung is another one. Stellantis is another one. Volkswagen is another one. Volvo is another one. Now let's go on to the rationale as to why Trump thinks this is necessary, because I think it's important for you to understand it whether you agree with it or not. You don't have to agree with it. I'm not saying you should. I'm not even sure I do. I'm simply saying that we got to stop these economic parlor tricks, and we got to actually start rebuilding an economy again instead of all the bullshit they've been doing in the past that doesn't work anyway, and the inflation keeps getting worse. And here's it. We become addicted to all these cheap foreign baubles and the easy money, fake fiat currency they do with quantitative easing at the expense of long-term economic health. Now, we used to have a cast-iron economy that actually made shit, and people said, oh, we can't never do that again. I don't think that's true. I think it's going to be difficult. I think it can be done. But we used to have a cast-iron, ironclad economy that made stuff. Now we got a paper economy that relies on hedge fund managers and accounting tricks. Now, that's a recipe for failure if we continue this. We rely upon all these other countries for strategic materials, pharmaceuticals, defense industry products, on and on. We're not supposed to do anything significant to turn it back. We're just supposed to let the inevitable happen, lie back and get raped and enjoy it. It's crazy. Think about if you were a farmer and you got enemies and competitors all around your ass on your little farm, and then you outsource all your farming activities to your neighbors because they could do the work and give you the materials more cheaply than you could. Then you sell up all your shit, you lay up all your workers because it was just easier and less expensive for others to do the work and maintain the machinery. But then your neighbors say, hey, no more, we ain't doing this no more, we're cutting you off. You know, kind of like Russia did the Europeans for the Ukraine thing. And now they're unable to fertilize their land, plow their fields, or harvest their crops. But even if you had kept the old stuff, you'd have sold off all your welding equipment, your spare parts, your raw materials, so you can't do nothing anyway. This is a long-term solution. It's going to be painful in the short term. Whether it's worth it or not, time will tell. We shall see. I think I'm willing to take the gamble. I think most Americans think it might be a good idea in the long term. Yeah, it's going to hurt in the short term, no doubt about it.
All right.
Thank you, Sarge. Thank you, Sarge. I appreciate that.
Tyrone.
Because we got some people on this line who don't understand that.
Jabari, can you please put those pom-poms down for 1 second? Let me check this line. Who's this unknown caller?
Siskumba.
Put your pom-poms down. Who's this unknown caller?
Okay.
Hello. All right, well, I'll open you up in a second. All right, go ahead, Miss Elisa.
Now, I was going to say, Sis Boomba. Anyway, some of those companies that Sarge mentioned was, they were slated. I don't know if they're all still coming, but a lot of them was up under the CHIPS Act. Again, I will bring that up. But it would take, I would have to have them list them again to look up to see what is still going on, because I just read an article that Volkswagen said hell with it. Anyway, but a lot of them were up under the CHIPS Act. So that was the way how to do it, to bring foreign manufacturing to the United States. So a lot of those companies, because I was typing them in, as far as from signing this boom bomb, that part of them was part of the CHIPS Act. Tariffs had nothing to do with that. Now, will they follow through? They probably may not. We don't know at this point. So keep your drawers. Don't let show us get bunched up celebrating all that stuff he just said. Some of that was part of the CHIPS Act, negotiated by Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, listen, every week I get on here, Sarge is a lie. And I'm not going to Google none of what Sarge said today. I'm just going to say it sounds felonious whenever he's saying major companies are moving or relocating to the United States. Okay, I let you talk. I let you talk, motherfucker. I let you talk. I let you talk. I'm just saying it sounds felonious.
I gotta be a liar though, not just misleading or maybe mistaken, but a liar, right?
I can't talk. I can't talk. I'm just saying it don't sound right when Sarge saying Volvo, Samsung, they are all relocating to the United States of America. That just don't. Now I ain't did no research and I could be wrong, but that just sounds like a damn lie. And whenever Sarge said these are going to be long-term effects and it's going to take, that is not the campaign promise. The campaign promise that you agreed to, that you voted for, is on day one he was going to turn the economy around. Not one time on the campaign did he say he's going to crash the fucking economy. Not one time did they say they were going to be suffering, economic suffering in this country. And that shows me that you and Jabbar will fall for anything that these motherfuckers say. Y'all don't give a shit. Y'all don't give a shit because as time goes on, they're moving the fucking field goal. They're changing the standards. And that just proves that you are fucking cult followers. Who is this unknown caller?
You want to listen to what Donald Trump was saying to Oprah Winfrey back in 1986 about tariffs? He's saying the same thing that he's saying now.
Did he say on day one? Did he say on day one that he was going to change the economy?
He's a fan of Hoover. Tyrone, I just looked up Samsung. Mm-hmm. They were all going to expand here. CHIPS Act. I don't remember the other country companies.
But it's not the. Let me get some clarity. It's not the entire Samsung freaking organization. It's got to be a department or something.
It was a part of that was going to expand here, and some of those, like I said, quite a few of those companies that he mentioned that was up under the CHIPS Act.
Yeah,
Trump
and Donald Trump didn't have shit. Donald Trump didn't have shit to do with that.
Try to take credit for that.
Yeah,
So
Donald Trump
that's why I
didn't have
said
shit to do
hold
with that.
back on your sis boom bye.
Never claimed to
A lot of that was
restructure every
just under the
diplomatic
CHIPS
agreement
Act.
the United States had made.
So
He's simply leveraging existing ones to his new tariff policy. I mean, what are you guys talking about? What do you mean he's not giving the credit to Joe Biden? We know when these things were passed. If
You didn't mention it though.
That's not how you made it sound. That's not how you made it sound.
You did not mention it. You listen, motherfucker. I'm gonna say this right here. Hold on, Sarge. Listen. I got you on mute. You said because of the Trump tariffs, these companies are relocating to the United States of America. You did not mention one motherfucking Joe Biden.
That's not what he said.
You didn't say shit.
That's
a lie.
That is what he led
That's what
to
he
believe.
said.
That's what he led to believe.
He said it was going to.
Stupid bastard! You know what the word accelerate means? God, you're ignorant.
Oh, God.
A goddamn glossary, for Christ's sake.
I love it.
CHIPS Act, CHIPS Act, all of that was negotiated up under Biden. So hold on to your drawers before you celebrate whoever the other person is. All of that was, and that is very important to bring up.
Because of the tariff.
No.
Damn, you guys don't listen.
Well, Volkswagen already said, hell, Volkswagen already done pulled out. So anyway, but that's very important to say that CHIPS Act, when you all got Donald Trump's drawers up on the flagpole waving it. That is very important to say.
Yeah, because Donald Trump didn't have shit to do with them damn companies coming over here, sound like.
He had nothing to do with that. He had nothing to do with that.
How much time are you going to give me to explain myself, Tyrone? I got to go every jot and tittle of every diplomatic agreement we made over the last 20 years? Because I could have done that, you know. But you wouldn't have let me do it because you would have muted me.
No one interrupted you, and you had plenty of time to insert that you're
such a disingenuous liar. Why do you have to do that?
Oh, God.
Yeah, go
Hey, Tyrone, I got a question.
Go ahead.
I got a question about the CHIPS Act. Okay. I'm reading it here now. It says the CHIPS and Science Act, signed into law 2020, is a $250 billion bipartisan bill that aims to boost U.S. semiconductor manufacturing and innovation. So to the lady who brought this up, how was it specifically? How was the $250 billion going to be used to boost the semiconductor manufacturing? Were they going to give companies $250? What? Go ahead.
No, they weren't going to do. It's called an incentive to build manufacturing. You have to give a little to bring a little. I'm not understanding. That's third grade. No, that's second grade. You got to give a little. It was an incentive for them to come and to bring manufacturing back, and then it would pay itself back over a period of time. That's what that is. You have to give a little to get a little. So you're saying we have to give Taiwan Semiconductor $250 billion to come here? Or did the I don't know how much. I don't know.
No,
you put up a number. I don't know how much.
Hold on for a second. Jabbar, listen, it's like Elon Musk getting subsidies, right? And all she's saying is
exactly.
if the wait a minute, damn it, you asked the question.
That's
the government, we as the taxpayers pay the government, and the government gives out subsidies to these businesses when they qualify for them through certain programs or whatever, right? So when they wrote this 250 thing that you talking about up, what Elisa's saying, if they come here and they do certain things and they meet certain criteria, they can qualify for a chunk of money at a certain period of time to continue to provide jobs and manufacture in the United States of America.
And build the country. That's how Elon Musk got his wealth, through government subsidy. He got wealthy off the tip of America. This is second grade stuff we're talking here.
I think Elon Musk provided a product or a service, ma'am.
Levi did.
No, he got
hold on. You can even ask your buddy
Sarge.
Sarge. You can even ask your buddy Sarge. Ain't Elon Musk sucking off the tit of fucking taxpayer? Now Sarge, you can't lie about that. You can't lie about that.
If you want to take away his subsidies, ain't no skin off my ass. I wouldn't mind it a bit.
Well, you need to explain to the bar that Elon Musk is stealing goddamn money. I think he's stealing it.
But you know what? He's giving a service for his subsidies.
What service?
That's better than that's better than what BLM gave or Stacey Abrams' outfit.
What?
They don't have nothing to do with this.
You forgot Antifa. You forgot Antifa.
What? Y'all are so programmed.
Yes.
God,
can I say something?
Go ahead, Maze.
Did you hear what you just said? I made a counter to what you just said. I said I got no problem with taking away his subsidies. I also said his subsidies have resulted in greater good for the United States and its people than anything Joe Biden gave to those green weenie outfits or the damn BLM bunch.
Go ahead, Maze.
You forgot Antifa. You forgot Antifa. Sorry.
You know
You forgot Antifa.
But yeah, that's what's true.
Hello, can I say something? See, now, you can come to this country and start a business with $5 billion. So I have no problem with that. So that's the way the people that he following wants to do stuff. So you can be a foreigner and come over here with $5 billion and start a business, but somebody that's been living here can't even start a business unless they have $5 billion.
Why should I have a problem with somebody who's got the capital to start a business? What are you, a communist?
No,
I think she is. I think she is. Sounds like it.
No, both of y'all sound like a cult that y'all following wherever, but the end is almost here.
You sound like a communist. That's far worse.
You don't even know what a communist is.
Why y'all not letting her talk now?
Somebody else's word. That's all. You're using someone else's word. Don't when you want to hear that, Fox Smith.
Well, stop with your idiotic accusations, because you don't even know what the meaning of is, you damn dummy.
What matters to you?
Sarge, you get on here every week and you complain about Maze cutting you off. Now you're doing it.
You worry about stage.
What's good for the goose, goddammit?
This contract. Your eggs are still high.
Can I ask?
Your gas is still
high.
Buy chicken. If your eggs are still high, buy a chicken and a rooster.
What? I don't need no chicken and a
about
rooster.
The price of eggs. Stop complaining about the eggs high then. Buy a chicken and a rooster.
Okay, hold on.
Chicken and rooster ain't got nothing to do with the eggs being high.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. You eat your fish come from China, and everything you eat come from those places, and you talking about you can skip over. And your furniture store you saying you're working for, they buy in bulk. So the bulk is still there and has already been paid for in inventory, so they don't have to worry about raising it at this moment. But when they get ready to get some new furniture, what you think it's going to cost? It won't be the same price that it is now. Do that.
That's a good point. Good point. Excellent point.
Excellent point. It's like the dollar store. Everything you $1.25 is going to go to $2.25. And if you buy lottery tickets, they get rid of $1. And that had nothing to do with it.
I'm sorry, May.
Wait a minute, let Maze finish.
Tell you to go buy you some beans and rice and stock up on it for 4 years. Buy stuff that will last you for 3 years and make sure you got something to eat. That's what you need to be doing. Trying to over and convince me about some crazy mess. So with that one, have a good one.
All right, Elisa.
She made some excellent points. Excellent points. Tyrone, I want to ask Sarge something. Now, I try to see both sides when it comes to this. Sarge, you still on the line?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be here.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, this is my understanding. This is something that I found out recently. It makes sense. Pre-World War II, pre-World War I, and then after World War I, the United States became an isolationist, kind of, sort of, right? While we were building and trying to become the greatest nation, all of that good stuff. After World War II and the destruction that was caused, this is, you tell me if you agree with this, the United States sort of kind of put their foot in their ass, because the Cold War was going to be starting even before World War II was over. Am I correct? Just stop me when I'm wrong. Stop me when I'm incorrect. But the Cold War was going to be starting.
The Cold War actually had its genesis in the Second World War, but got in high gear about 1947.
Okay, there we go. Okay, we're on the same page. Okay, the United States, and I don't know how smart the country was to do this. They promised, I'm just going to use simple words. They promised Europe and a lot of different other countries, look, if you all keep communists out, you all back us against Russia, even though they all had to team up to fight during World War II, but they knew what it was going to be afterwards. You all team up with us, we do the EU, this and that. We will not go along with Russia because of communism, and we're about capitalism. We will be your protector. We will put all this money into the infrastructure, because we never wound down. Usually when a big war's over, countries will wind down their spending and military. We never did that. We continued on with it. We built up such a huge military infrastructure. We will protect you. We will do this. We will do that. You all just can stay with us and stave off communism. And some of these other countries, like in Europe, we sit back and we wonder why, stop me when I'm wrong, and we wonder why that they're able to give their people health care. They're able to do a lot of social programs and social things in their country that our country does not do. But we pour in a lot of money to the military, even though the Pentagon fails their audit. And whenever it's time for their audit, they fail it. We pour in money to that because the world thought we were going to be its protector. And then now we're saying we're not going to do that because the American people kind of, sort of suffered while we were doing that for everybody, and they weren't doing their part as far as at least keeping and maintaining a larger military, military presence in the world. And maybe it wasn't a good idea that they do that. We wanted to be top dog. We wanted to be this. And the American people were not able to enjoy in things that some of our European countries, we hear about what's happening, what they're able to give their people. Canada, well, keep Canada out of it. But they're able to do in Australia, what they're able to do in the European countries. Free health care, free this, lower medications, all of the things. But the American people weren't, because we were putting all our money into the military. So if we're still on the same page here, I would agree with you that we got taken advantage of. What do you say, Sarge?
Well, look, I'm glad you brought up this point, Elisa, because I think it's important for people to understand how we got to the point we're at today. We're still running on the fumes of this agreement, which I think was a good idea in 1946. It was a damn good idea to do what it did to prevent the European countries from being more infested with communism than they were, and it worked, by the way. But it should have been started to be completely phased out by the time of the German economic miracle in the early 1960s under Konrad Adenauer. That not only was in Germany, it had also spread to France and other Western countries, and they had really gotten back on their feet. But by then, the gravy train was just too good for the Europeans and the people in our country who were benefiting from the Marshall Plan, mainly people who imported goods from those countries, to give up. So their lobbies went to work on Congress to keep some version of it alive, even though the Marshall Plan officially expired about 1956 or 57. But they just put it together in new terms in form of different tariff agreements, almost every one of which was wildly unfavorable to the United States. So what we're looking at now is Trump's recognition of this. And again, I'm going back to watching him on the Oprah Winfrey Show, on the Johnny Carson Show, on the David Letterman Show, on all kind of late night talk shows. He was still a liberal, considered to be a liberal Democrat celebrity. And he was talking about the unequal trade balance, inequitable trade balance between the United States and foreign nations. And he was really hot to trot against it. And he was really mad about it. He said, they're eating our lunch and we need to correct it. He's been saying this for decades. And he was right. And yes, this needs to be addressed. Can't let it continue.
Now, as far as what we were just speaking about, I agree with you on that. These other countries, they had a ticket. And they were able to do more, far more. And did they laugh at us? Y'all don't even have health care. I agree with all of that. But okay, so since me and you are both on the same page, I do not agree in the way that he's going about it, because it's going to wreck global trade. Okay, so when because you said that a lot of people don't understand. I understand. I just don't think he's going about it the right way. Because I don't think he quite knows what he doesn't. This is not it. This is not it with these tariffs across the board over everybody. Europe and these other countries had needed to level up and do their part in a lot of different things. I just do not think this is the way to go about it, and I think it's going to backfire big time. So,
what
do you say?
Well, I think you could definitely argue with his methods. I'm not saying his methods are inarguable. In fact, they may be flawed in many respects. I'm not for a heartbeat am I saying it. I'm simply saying that these 25 and 40% tariffs are not transporting or being applied against all of our trading partners. In fact, most of them are 10% or less. It is the ones that have been really eating our lunch that have the large tariffs against them, because he's put tariffs on almost every one of our trading partners, but many of them are reasonable and should not upset the apple cart in any sense. The ones he's talking about is like countries like Germany, countries like France, countries like Italy, and others. They've got the ones with the big, the larger tariffs. So it's not universal across the board in any respect. And yeah, I can understand your exception to the methods he's using. We shall see. I'm willing to take a wait and see attitude. I'll give him a year and a half to see positive results. If you don't see it by then, it's a failure.
Year and a half.
A year and a half. Tyrone, I got one more thing.
In my estimate only, it doesn't mean it is so.
What the fuck?
Okay, Tyrone, I got one more thing. That I want to say to Tyrone, to SARS. Then I'm done. Okay. These European countries, you can add all of them, put them all. The people are used to the subsidies, they're used to the entitlements, they're used to the social programs. They're going to have to snatch that from them. And this is my biggest fear for Europe. And this is just my fear. My biggest fear for Europe. They're going to have to snatch them in order to do the things that they're going to be able to need to do to be able to compete. And we do not need, and when you snatch the securities away from them, they look for someone to blame. And then we got a mess like we had with those mofos in Europe back in World War II. That's my fear. Does it make sense to you why I feel the way that I do now? I understand it. Huh?
It makes sense to me, and that's the problem with them damn Europeans. We've been doing their defense umbrella for them since the end of World War II. That's why they got so damn much money to spend on their grotesque welfare states. We need to get them off the teeth and get them back to supporting themselves.
Okay, so let me.
There you go. I agree with you on that.
Let me check this caller. Who's this caller?
This is Miss Lady. I want to go back to tariffs because there's some history with tariffs here in this country, and it's not good.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm reading about tariffs being placed before the Great Depression, and it was called the Fortney-Macomber Tariff Act of 1922. It raised tariffs substantially. And then in 1930, there was the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act that further increased tariffs, which is often cited as a big contributing factor to the Great Depression. So it says that the Fortney-Macomber Tariff Act of 22 raised the tariff significantly, aiming to protect American industries, which we were talking about, farmers from foreign competition, particularly from Europe. The average import tax on foreign goods was raised to about 40% by the Fortney-Macomber Act. And then the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 was enacted just months after the stock market crash. It marked the start of the Great Depression. It further increased tariffs on a wide range of goods. The act, named after Republican senators Reed Smoot and Willis Hawley, raised tariffs on thousands of imports with the goal of trying to protect the farmers and the industries here. So it says many economists argue that those acts hindered international trade, triggered retaliatory tariffs from other countries, and exacerbated the Great Depression. Now, Warren Buffett has gone into cash. He sold a lot of his stocks off. And he says a lot of people are not going to make it 2026.
I agree with that.
So that pretty much we have history with all these tariffs and with this protectionism stuff, and it didn't end well. So let's see how this one ends.
It didn't end well at all. It didn't end well at all. And that's the problem. And that's what I fear. If you let these European nations, Germany and them, arm themselves back up to where they used to be, and then you snatch up all of their programs and stuff like that from the people, that is a fear of mine. That is a fear of mine. But I just don't think this is the way to do it. And then also, because we're living now in the new millennia, the world is more connected than we used to be back then. We're more, so good global trade is healthy for the world. So we're more connected than we were back then. But that fears, that terrifies me. Do some of the European countries arming up, doing what they, that's the Germany. That terrifies me.
And and we're being very hostile to them in our tone and how we're talking to them. You're allies. Now you're going to be isolationist.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Go back to being isolationist. I don't know. And then you got Elon Musk digging in. He over here hailing people and stuff with the salute. We got a lot of crazy people here in this country, and none of us, well, I can't say none of us, but most of us on this phone, we do not have the complexion for the protection. So all of this, it just sounds like it's going to be one big mess.
Yep.
And Trump is not the one to lead it. Was not the one to lead it. We barely made it out when Germany just had their last election some weeks back. We dodged a bullet there. We really did. I also trust the European countries because I look at America. Look how stupid we are. I don't just you. Some people they sitting on here talking about it's okay. It's great to pay more for stuff. Says who? What kind of foolishness is that? I don't know. We're in a mess. We're in a mess.
Yeah, Jabari, I didn't. But let me ask you, what do you think about Elon Musk doing that Hitler salute?
Well, I didn't see it as a Hitler salute.
Okay, tell us
I didn't take
it.
it that way.
How'd you
Well,
see
the
it?
Germans did. They absolutely did. And if he did that in Germany, he would be arrested.
He asked me the question. I saw it as him putting his hand over his heart.
All you want. I'll let you go ahead.
I saw it as him putting his hand over his heart and then extending it to say, basically, thank you. That's how I saw it.
Well,
I'm not offended by it.
Even Sarge
and people from Germany said it was. They lived there. Their grandparents lived under Hitler, and so I'm going to go more with what their history has been and what they feel.
What they say.
A black man from America that was not in World War II and who did not live up under Hitler. Okay.
Even Sarge acknowledged that was a Sieg Heil German, let's say a Nazi salute. So why are you?
I didn't acknowledge that Elon Musk did it for that purpose. No, I didn't.
But you acknowledge that's what he did, Sarge. Now I ain't finna debate this with you.
I acknowledged the gesture for what it was, and I pointed out that many people use a similar gesture. And actually, strictly speaking, what he did was more reminiscent of the old Roman salute.
Okay, go to Germany and do it, Sarge. Go to Germany and do it. And see
what the Roman salute is.
Man, get them tap dancing shoes. Tap dancing now.
I'm gonna finish my answer. I mean, I have to yell.
Okay.
They will throw your black man right in jail. Okay.
Wait a minute.
I'm right in the middle of the goddamn answer.
Okay.
The Nazis copied the Roman salute. That's where they got it from.
Yeah.
The Roman salute. That's where they got that from.
Why don't we acknowledge what it more precisely looked like then?
He did. I mean, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me tell y'all. There's a video that's circulating around.
It was a Sieg Heil.
Yeah, there was a video circulating around with Elon Musk, with Elon Musk and a Nazi doing the exact same salute, and they got the cadence together, they got the gesture together. It's the exact same thing as these skinheads and Nazis around here. So it's not the
Question.
And that's what his family was. That they supported the Nazi movement, his grandfather and all of those people. And one of the main reasons why they moved to South Africa, because they are apartheidist. So why are we sitting here with this talking this dumb stuff?
Is it anything like the salute that the Canadian Parliament gave to that Waffen SS member on the floor of Parliament when the Ukrainian war started? They said he was a hero.
What about
They said he was a hero.
Now we're on whataboutism without addressing the issue. The issue was he did a Ziegfeld, not what Obama did.
And a lot of people here in the United States saluted it too.
You see how he tries to deflect?
You're damn right I do, because that's what you're doing.
Never wants to tell the truth.
Yeah, you're damn right I am, because that's exactly what you're doing. So I'm going to deflect even better than you can.
Yeah,
I got a question.
You can't do anything better than I can.
The man was a member of the SS, the 14th Waffen Escalation Division, and yes, he did fight the Russians. And people here in this country celebrated him.
I got a question.
So you take that and put it in your pipe and
You bombastic idiot.
Go ahead with your question.
Ignorant fool.
Okay. Let's not do the name calling. Let's calm down. Okay, calm down.
I got a question.
Okay, but let me just try to get some. Let me get some organization going on here. Let's not do the name calling.
I didn't start this shit.
Okay, will you calm your ass down? I just trying to tell y'all.
I'm asking a question. If I get a chance.
Okay, well, go ahead, Sarge.
I got a question for you.
Again, none of these insults and that stuff, I don't ever start them. But I tell you one thing, I will finish them, because I know more than most of you, whether you like it or not.
Shut up,
regurgitate. You can regurgitate more
Okay.
than that.
Okay. Regarding
I do it pretty goddamn well, don't I?
You a damn coon, Sarge.
Hey, what's up, East Coast?
And
Not East Coast, but Big
and a
OC.
fool.
Big OC, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're
say
two
what you
things.
want. Nah,
I'm
this
one.
Big OC.
Wait a minute,
This
hold
Big
on,
OC,
guys. Let me
Tyrone.
get Jabari asked.
Regarding
Wait a minute,
Elon
hold
Musk
on.
salute, has
Why
anyone
the fuck y'all don't listen to me when I'm on here?
Jewish
Goddamn.
has
Okay.
anyone from the Jewish community showed concern what Elon did?
Okay, what was your question again,
No,
sir?
because
Has anyone from the Jewish community showed
Because he
concern
didn't make a Nazi salute.
about
What they got to
what
complain
Elon
about?
did?
He didn't make a Nazi salute.
Oh, well,
he
I can...
extended his arm
They did or
like you
not,
could see
is
Barack Obama doing, or Hillary Clinton doing, or Bill Clinton doing.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry.
I think that answers the
God
question.
damn it, listen.
That answers the question.
No, that
Guys.
does not answer the
That answers
question.
the question.
Okay.
That does not
answers the
answer.
question.
Okay, guys, y'all
That
gonna
does
have
not
to...
answer the question.
Y'all are
He
gonna...
did not
does.
give the pure salute.
Oh, Jesus. Listen. Okay, y'all gonna have to listen to Tyrone, because I got two more callers that's trying to get in here, and we all know Sarge is crazy. So,
Crazy like a fox, baby.
Shut
You
up.
try matching wits with me when you're totally unarmed.
Oh, God. Listen, Big OC, how you doing? And then Sister Antoinette, you can go after Big OC. Jeez.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'm chilling, Tyrone. Just patched in. Just listening to the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna be more than the same.
Oh, and by the way, can we
Can you
revisit
please
that Smoot
stop?
Hawley
Yeah, man,
claim?
shut your
Can we
coon ass
revisit
up.
it
It's my turn.
as it was
It's my
presented?
turn, fool.
Sarge, can you please
All
shut
right,
up?
well, later, after you get through, let's revisit that Smoot Hawley claim.
We ain't revisiting shit you talking about, Sarge.
Well, I didn't think so. Well, look, whenever you're ready, I will kick your ass on that, too.
Okay, go ahead, Big OC.
Man, all I really want to know is what industry or companies came back and set up shop in America during Trump's first term. That's it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Cricket.
Try Googling it.
Are you
Well, I
online,
gotta
Jabari? Are
Well, I gotta
you
Google.
looking at the show online, Jabari?
Say that again.
Are you looking at the show? Are you looking at the show on the internet on YouTube, Jabari?
Yeah, it's on my notebook, but I'm more listening to my phone here.
Okay, well look
You
at your note.
you need me to close it out?
No, look at your notebook, and I want you to see Elon Musk side by side with Nazis doing the exact motherfucking same thing. I'm showing you, and Hitler even does it in this little video here. He does the exact same thing as Hitler, the exact same thing as these Nazis. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, brother. Do you see it?
Tyrone, a question was asked that any Jewish.
If my heart is going out
Go
to
ahead.
you, you look at Elon grit his teeth. Look at him grit his teeth when he threw it. That had nothing to do with my heart going out to you. It had everything to do with, goddamn it, Sig motherfucking how.
Now, Jabari.
So again, my question is.
Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Now, Jabbar, if you seen that and you still think the same way, I don't know what is wrong with you. But go ahead, Big OC. It was Big OC turn, y'all.
This is really serious with you. You really believe this crap. This is all you got?
He said, my heart goes out to you at the end. Why? Who does that? That's not even the way.
I don't know who are you to talk about the guy's style. That's the way he does things. Everybody got their way of doing things.
SARS.
What are you, the arbiter of how you're supposed to do it?
We know you are half Nazi. So we know you can.
What are you, the arbiter of how everyone expresses
themselves? You gotta let him talk, man. Come on, man. Everybody let you talk.
I mean, you guys are really arrogant as hell.
Oh, jeez. Go ahead, Big OC.
You know what, Tyrone? If everybody who was complaining about,
don't let Sarge and this other soft-spoken nigga troll y'all tonight. All right.
Oh yeah.
If I could see if everybody who was complaining about what Elon Musk did was Jewish, but they're not. So you don't. And
I know a lot of them were. That's a lie.
Wait. Hold on. That has got to be the dumbest comment that I've ever heard. That has got to be the most ridiculous, stupidest comment that I've ever heard. Nigga, the Nazis were en route to take over the fucking planet. It didn't have shit to do with you. They wanted to take over your motherfucking ass, Jabbar. So, yes, the Jews were part of the Holocaust, and the Nazis, that were their primary victims and all that kind of bullshit. But everybody else in the world was going to get fucked if it would have been taken over by fucking Nazis, you moron. So don't be saying that only the Jews should be worried about the goddamn Nazi
Most of
salute.
Hitler's victims were not Jews.
Okay,
no,
so you're going to have to shut up.
Can I ask?
Go ahead, Alicia.
Can I ask this again?
Most of Hitler's victims were not Jews.
Well,
a
you
lot
need
of
to tell
them were, but
Jabari
not
that.
all of them.
You need to tell
and more people need to, and some of those other groups need to be discussed than just them. I agree with Sarge on that. But let me say this: a question was asked about Jewish groups. I think he's probably talking about the ADL. They came out and they said that they didn't think it was a Nazi group. You can't. A lot of Jewish people had a lot of problems with what he did, but you can't go by what the ADL did because they're in cahoots with AIPAC, and AIPAC gives a lot of money, and they've wanted Trump elected so that they can do what they're doing, they currently are doing right now. So that is just a stupid point to make.
Yeah,
a lot of Jewish people took a lot of offense to that. But if you're speaking of the ADL, and people were upset with them when they said no, it was not a salute, they were wrong for that. But they were in cahoots with AIPAC. And we know what AIPAC is all about.
That is
Let's
crazy.
just look at what's going on in the Middle East right now with Gaza and those places like that.
That is crazy, Jabbar.
So that is just a stupid comment. It's a crazy comment.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should
Whether
take...
or not they were upset or not is irrelevant to the fact that that's what he did.
Because that is an affront to people. That should be it. It's irrelevant, but it's
of the population of Poland was killed in World War II. 33% of them were killed as a result of Hitler's policies.
All right, so let me check this other. Let me check this line.
That's why it's an affront to a lot of people, not just to the Jews. It's an affront to my brown skin ass. It was an affront to me too.
Let me check this other line. Who's this new caller?
Hey, what's up, son?
What's up, Joe? And I just need for you to be educating people tonight. I need for you to be aware if you're not Jew, or if you're not Jewish, then you don't need to be offended by the the Heil Hitler salute. Okay.
Again,
Well, I'm
most of
not
his
Jewish
victims
today.
were not
Yeah,
Jews. Everybody
yeah.
would be
I'm not
offended
Jewish
if
today.
he did it.
Maybe tomorrow.
No, I'm messing with Jabbar, man. What's
Yeah,
going on, man?
yeah. Hey. Okay. So let's get back to some basic stuff here. All right. First off, it's like I told Sarge in the chat room. The economy was doing great before Trump started all this. So I mean, I don't understand. Everything's going good. You create a problem, and then you're gonna fix the problem. It's like basically somebody saying, "Oh yeah, we're having sex today, but eventually down the road we'll get a condom." No, it doesn't work that way. All he had to do was continue as the economy was going. Even if he did nothing, it would have been great. But right now we're negative GDP. Yeah. The second thing is this, and this is the point that you guys really need to understand. I'm talking about the clean element here. Trump only has a year and a half to do something. All right. Now he's telling you there's going to be short-term pain, but there's a midterm election cycle coming up. His people are already pissed off. You think that's going to wane by the time the midterms come up? No, it's not. It's going to get worse. And so, whatever vision he has is going to be a vision that's longer than 4 years. It'll never get put into play because right after that midterms, once the tide changes, they're going to be scrambling to keep a hold of whatever little seats or whatever little positions of power that they have. They won't be focusing on tariffs anymore. They'll be scrambling to hold on to seats, basically seats in the Senate and seats in the House. And so, Trump has only 3.5 years basically to put this in play before a new administration comes in and wipes all of this shit out. So just long term, no, there's no long term. If your plan doesn't produce some results quickly, the American people are going to pull the plug on you, period. End of story. And that doesn't matter what party you're in. The American people are going to pull the plug on you. They don't have long-term vision. And that's a good thing in some ways, and that's a bad thing in others. All right, third thing. I don't care how you slice it. Tariffs are a tax on the buyer. Period. Full stop. There is no way that you guys can dance and try and move the goalposts and paint it and all that. It is what it is. Please stop trying to explain away what a tariff is. A tariff is a tax on the buyer. Full stop. There is no other explanation around it. There's another way you can dress that thing up. So unless you can sell that to the people, which Trump is actually doing, he's selling to a lot of ignorant people, that somehow this tariff is this magical thing that generates, massive income, from the other guy. I don't know how they do that, but apparently, people are stupid enough to believe that. No, it comes from you. Anyway, I'll just leave those 3 points here. Y'all can roll with me.
So you described the Hegelian dialectic, Joe, where he created a problem and then, they're going to come up with, quote unquote, the solution to fix the problem that they created.
That's dialectical materialism. Hegelian dialectics is thesis, antithesis,
Nobody cares about what you think.
I know you don't know what the hell you're talking about because you went to college. That's why.
To be lectured by you. You don't know how to. You don't know how to instruct. You don't know how
what
to
the hell just happened?
You just won't acknowledge it.
You are a poor excuse.
You're poor. You're too goddamn college educated.
Okay. Miss Lady and Sarge. Okay, Sarge and Miss Lady. Sarge last week.
No, he really is a fool. Tyrone,
I just described what she claimed accurately, and she gave us a half-ass explanation of it. You're stupid and uneducated because you went to college.
Okay.
The Socratic method of instruction.
Okay, this is not going to end well. I already know this.
Man, this woman will distract because she's a fool and she is a narcissist.
Okay, I know. I know this is not going to.
Why don't you go back to college and learn what those words mean?
I
all
know
that
that.
goes.
Goddamn fool!
Okay, see,
You a fool.
see,
You're
okay,
an
okay,
uneducated
okay.
fool
Y'all need to
at that.
calm down. Yeah, this is not going
You're a
to end well.
wannabe scholar, so shut up and learn. Sit down.
And I know I'm
Okay, Sergeant, Miss Lady, Sergeant and Miss Lady, please don't interact with each other, because y'all gonna start calling each other names, and it's gonna get really bad. It always does. So please stop, please. Okay, so Sister Nobody, how you doing tonight?
I'm okay. I have to agree with OC, right? East Coast, OC, whatever his name is.
Big OC.
Big OC. Sorry about that. I have to agree with him when he says Sarge is trolling tonight real bad. He's like interrupting what would naturally be a nice conversation, sharing of information. He's just making a mockery of it. Like, come on now, calm down,
when you got a
Sarge.
bunch of idiots in the house.
Yeah.
You doing it now?
That's what I wanted to say.
No, that's how he usually acts 90% of the time. 10% of the time he doesn't, but 90%, this is him. He trolls 90% of the time.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't troll when I actually describe a matter of fact. I do it very accurately.
No, you don't. You don't. You lie and you leave important information out and you twist and turn.
Yeah, like
no,
the description of Hegelian dialectics.
Well, whatever. That's my description. Don't worry about my description.
I know you went to college.
What? Yes,
something that
and you give us your truth instead of the truth, you goddamn idiot.
That's because you don't have one.
Yeah, something Sarge said in the chat.
You're proving how much of an idiot you are.
Hey,
with
you
no
know what, Tyrone?
Go ahead.
I am happy I don't have the college education you got.
Sarge,
no
hush.
communication skills.
Okay, guys, y'all hold on. Go ahead, Sister Nobody.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this stuff is really going to hurt the common people, the people that's out here working, not retired, Sarge. The people that's out here working and trying to make a living, you know, because you're going to have jobs shutting down, relocating to other areas, waiting on something to produce, you know, a company to come and, you know, and it's not to say if jobs are lost in North Carolina and they're setting up a shop in Nevada, how is that helping the people in North Carolina? It's not helping them.
It's not, yeah.
So this stuff is really going to have a negative impact on people's daily lives. And desperate people do desperate things. And, hey.
Well, these people, they'll bend over backwards to defend anything the Republicans and Trump do. And what they're saying don't make any sense. Everybody know what they're saying ain't making no damn sense. They even know it probably. But,
well, you know what, Tyrone?
They
you know,
want to send people to. Listen, they just not gonna put immigrants in there, okay?
Go ahead, Joe.
Something as far as the chat room,
they already know
you know, about
to go up.
Something Sarge said in the chat room about the stock market, NASDAQ, these guys are pussies or something like that. Look, Sarge, here's the deal. And this is something that you can't get around either. The biggest investors on Wall Street are institutional investors. That means, hey, what's up? That means these guys that are doing investments for pension funds, you know, for 401ks, so on and so forth. Those are the biggest investors, right? When the stock market goes down, guess who it affects most? Not the billionaires, but those guys. That means that those people that were planning on retiring cannot retire now because whatever they have in their portfolio is less value than it was maybe the week or the month previously. So while you may call them pussies, that's your opinion, and I understand that. But we're talking about Americans here. We're not talking about billionaires. We're talking about average Americans. So when what Trump does affects the market, affects Americans directly in their pocketbook, squarely in their pocketbook. So
and if
hey,
he wasn't getting his pension check, and if he got a military check and he stopped getting those, or if they decreased a lot in value, he'd be questioning that as well. You know, that reminds me of that billionaire that was sitting up there so out of touch and said, well, if my mother missed her Social Security check, she wouldn't cry about it. and complain about it. She said, well, there must have been an issue. I'll just wait for the next month. She's not going to be waiting on no Social Security check because you're her son, a billionaire. How stupid. I mean, these people are just out of touch. And I think a lot of these so-called people that like Sarge want to identify with those wealthy white billionaires, somebody they'll never be. So
I believe Sarge wouldn't say a thing if his check got cut off. I don't think he would say nothing. Would you say anything, Sarge?
Can I say something, Tyrone?
Why do you love to
Let me
explore
add
the
this.
fantastic? Why are you so in love with these outrageous claims that have no possibility of fruition or high unlikelihood of ever being that
Because
way?
you agree with
do it
everything
all
they
the
do.
time. It never comes true, and you never acknowledge how full of shit you are.
Because you agree with everything they do, and you would agree with that.
No, I just listen to what you just said, Negro. Now, damn it, that's foolish. One of the first things, the last things the government's going to cut, anytime you hear a government shutdown, they always say the last thing they're going to cut is Social Security and pensions. And they say it every damn time, and you keep repeating this stupid shit.
Can I say something, Tyrone?
I think they have a hearing problem.
I'm going to suggest.
I think they have a real hearing problem.
Go ahead, Alicia.
No, I suggest everyone go and check their 401k, their portfolio, like he was just saying. I'm not going to get into it because it's too much of my personal business, but the amount of money that I have lost.
And that's people retirement there. That is their retirement that Donald Trump just attacked today.
I have lost.
Investing 101.
This is
investing 101.
A lot of money in their 401k.
Wait a minute. We got some breaking news.
This is investing 101.
We got breaking news.
Investing 101.
Jabbar getting ready to give us investing 101. So everybody get your pencils out. Go ahead, Jabbar.
Are you a financial advisor, Jabari?
Investing 101.
Go ahead.
You haven't lost any money. You haven't lost any money until you sell. Until then, it's only the value of what you have is less.
And once again, you proved to us
that's investing 101.
Wait a minute. And once again, he proved to us how dumb he is. Come on, man.
That's silly that is. Let me explain to you. 2 weeks ago, if I was retiring and going to draw it out, I would be $8,000 richer. And when you're retiring, I would be $8,000 richer 2 weeks ago. So you can take that shit and shove it up your dumb ass.
Mama's boy, welcome to the show.
Tyrone, this is what I'm doing.
I'm just in euphoria right now,
Next Thursday or next Friday, if you have a show.
Jabari, shut the fuck up, nigga.
He trying to put a proposal on the table.
Last thing I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
This is the last thing I'm gonna
Jabari.
say. Next Wednesday or
He
Thursday,
said, "Mama's boy, what's
back.
going down?" That means Jabari shut the hell up and let Mama's boy say what the fuck going down.
Y'all crazy.
Go ahead.
You claim to be educated. You don't even understand the simple intro of a conversation. A person coming in a conversation. You know, I'm going to be the one to explain it to you since your college degree ass, or possibly not, don't know it.
Well,
when a person is introduced in front of you, you be quiet and let them speak. That's usually how it works. That's how it works. No. I was called in, brother. You was already sitting in here. I was called in.
Okay.
If you think you know what's right, you just hold on to that and let me tell you what's right. You shut the hell up. You sit on your goddamn hands. You be quiet. You be a good little nigga and shut the fuck up. That's what you do.
I just want to warn you that I am dead.
You ain't warning me to do shit, nigga. You can't warn me to do nothing. We over a phone goddamn call, dumbass.
I'm not complaining about the stock market.
You can't warn me to do a damn thing, man. Let me just say what I gotta say, Tyrone.
I gave you your warning.
Can I say what I didn't hear it? I didn't hear it. Can I say what I gotta say, Tyrone? Go ahead. Okay. Just to help out my sister, because that's what I do, shit like that. The reason why Sarge tried to puff his chest out at you, because you didn't state the beginning of the Hegelian dialectic. There is no problem. The person creates the problem so he can solve the problem. That's the one thing you didn't say. He thought he was gonna come on here and dance on you, but there's some people that listen to his dumb ass lie 24/7. Like he gonna pass a judgment on you, knowing that he still got this big old log in his eye. He can't see
hold
it.
on. Let's get this straight. She wasn't trying to read out the damn dictionary.
He creates a problem.
She was just spitballing and giving us the definition. I understood what she said, so she didn't.
I knew exactly what she was talking about.
I knew exactly what she was talking about.
So I don't be fooled, people. Sarge is not this savant.
Hegelian dialectic is a method used to engage in dialogue, you simple Simon bastard. Go look it up.
You ever heard of analogy, motherfucker?
Anything, and then you want to pontificate.
You can't use it as an analogy. You can't use it as an analogy.
Dialogue. It is a method for dialogue to arrive at the truth of a thing.
Can you use it as an analogy? Yes,
God
you can.
Almighty. You want to stick on this all fucking night long?
You the one bedded in there when nobody was talking to you.
Nobody was talking to you. Not a. Nobody was talking to you, brother.
I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass into the ground. If you want to have that debate,
Now, Tyrone, if I'm allowed to finish what I was saying,
let Mama's boy go.
I have one thing to say, and then I'm one more thing to say.
But it seems like you do.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about it. Go ahead, Mama's boy.
I spent a considerable amount of time this week calling in on the line, and it's been the same. Sarge has been doing this shit all week, and at one point in time, I just decided to shut the hell up and listen to him. He said he's not long-winded. He doesn't talk. He makes his point and shuts the hell up, right? Well, I timed this fool, Tyrone, and I started timing him at 11:58 when he said it, right? And he talked for an additional 50 minutes.
You lying bastard. Fuck you. Go to hell, you piece of shit. You're lying motherfucker on this show.
And you don't have to take my word for it.
Oh my goodness!
The people that was in on the conversation kept getting it's like it was almost it was almost instant. It was almost instant.
Intermittently, I was speaking throughout the 50 minutes.
He said. Listen, Tyrone. He said he was done. I think I don't even know if it was me. I think someone else said something, and then he went back to talking again. And I even asked him, Tyrone. I even asked him at the time.
What is wrong with this dude, man?
Hey, Tyrone, I even asked him at the time, and he got mad like he is now. I asked him at the time, do we restart the clock now that you done started talking? Because, he liked it to go, that was 2 minutes. So do we restart the clock once you...
This motherfucker does not know what 50 minutes is in the length
so there
of
you
time.
go.
How many seconds is 50
there
minutes?
You go.
50 minutes times 60 is how many seconds, you stupid son of a bitch?
Oh, my goodness. Y'all
you
crazy.
think he let me speak for 50 minutes?
Hey, Sarge.
Fucking nuts.
Hey, Sarge, listen, I may know I'm a dumbass, but I know you sitting right next to me in the same class.
Oh, God. Okay, I don't even know what we're talking about.
What, you got your peanut gallery to cheer you on with this bullshit, and you think you're smart?
No, I want to hear what Jabari, what was you going to say?
No, it was me. I wanted to say this. This is where
I said what I was going to say. I gave him his warning. He heard what I said.
Go ahead, Joe.
I didn't hear what you said. So you wrong. You a lying bitch as usual, Jabari.
15 minutes, motherfucker. That's what you said.
Yeah. So you tell me approximately if you started at 11:58 and you stopped at 12:40. Hold on. You asked me a goddamn question, you migrant.
All right.
You fucking migrant.
I can't believe
you're migrant to the white race, motherfucker. You migrant.
Okay.
Shut up. So when he stops at 12:47, is that 50 minutes, Tyrone?
Yeah, that's 50 minutes.
Now, you gonna let this motherfucker troll the show on and on for all night? You gonna talk about me all night?
Oh,
is that what you gonna let him do?
Sarge got called a troll. Now he calling Mama's boy a troll.
Wait a minute, no. He now wants to spend the rest of the night talking about how long I've been on here talking.
Okay, well, let me hear what Joe got to say because Joe
Do you think that's really relevant?
Okay, let me hear what Joe
Yeah, I
got
noticed
to say.
that. Yeah, I noticed that none of these guys can basically, challenge me on what I'm saying. But Jabari, yes, you only lose value when you go to cash out. The problem is this: if you have a 401k and you lose 10% of the value of it, it becomes an issue of how much longer a person has to work before they can cash out again, before they can recoup that value and cash out. If your mother or your father was close to retirement and they have lost, let's say, 15% of the value of their 401k, then that illustrates a time more that they will have to work in order to recoup that value. Again, we're talking about people here.
No,
we're talking about people here.
Hold on, Joe.
To really say,
okay,
what?
I understand what you're saying. When you cash out, you get the physical cash in hand. That's when you lose that. But listen, just the other week, Elon Musk was worth $600 billion because of his antics and all this kind of shit. Tesla dropped, and now they say he lost a couple of hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
His value went down without him cashing out. And that's when I said that he crazy, because if you got an investment in a 401k, you got $200,000 in there. The stock market dropped. Now you only got $100,000 in there. Your value has dropped by $100,000. You see what I'm saying? Even though you ain't cash out.
But
that's still
that
your
equates
ownership.
But that still equates to how much time that you have to work to recoup it to back to up 200,000. So for a typical employee, we're talking years here. We're not talking weeks or months. We're talking somebody may have to work 2, 3, 4, 5 years more than their planned retirement in order to get back to the number that they already had. So again, we can't look at these things as just numbers. They represent people. And the other thing Sarge said, the last thing they cut is Social Security and Medicare. Well, that's because Social Security is not tied to the stock market. If they privatize Social Security, then we're going to be in a big problem. Because then imagine if Social Security was tied to the market today, being privatized, so to speak. Do you realize that people will be getting paid less because the market is down? So that's why the argument to not privatize Social Security exists, because they don't want to have it, fluctuate due to market ups and downs. So Sarge kind of really makes my point, that as long as Social Security and pensions and military pensions are not tied to the market, they exist and he could live happily on it. But I guarantee you, he'd be crying to the high heaven if his check was less because the market went down.
I don't think Sarge would say nothing. I don't think he would. I don't think he would have a problem with it. I honestly don't believe it.
God, you guys are just obsessed with me. At the same time, tell me how irrelevant I am. It's unbelievable. Well, look, man, I understand that at the present time, Social Security is not tied to the stock market. And okay, fine, I get your point. But I'm simply saying that had the same money been taken out of your check and simply invested in a bank CD, it would yield a higher return on the investment when you reach retirement age than the government and the little pitiful pittance that they give you.
Well, he's full of shit, because who's going to be doing the investment, Sarge? The fucking government. Jesus Christ, if you privatize it, that's who's going to be doing the goddamn investments. So you full of shit.
Let's not worry about me. Let's stick with the argument, okay? The argument is about whether or not Social Security should have been privatized, which it is not. I never raised an argument about privatizing Social Security. That is something Joe attributed to me, which I did not raise.
Okay.
But let's the issue has been raised. Why don't we actually examine it then?
Yeah, I was commenting on the fact that you said that Social Security and pensions are the last thing they touch. And the reason it's the last thing they touch is because it's not tied to the stock market, not because it is. And the speculation about whether you would make more if it was privatized, we could speculate on that all day and night. But at the end of the day, it's speculation, Sarge. That's all it is. It's not reality. Right now, reality is what it is. And people depend on that number because they know it's a number that's safe and it's a number that they can bank on.
You do understand I was simply replying to the absurd remark that Tyrone made that I wouldn't mind if my pension was removed from me by the government. I simply pointed out to him that it is the last thing considered. It's never even considered in any budgetary shutdown since they've been talking about budgetary shutdown. So the likelihood of it is infinitesimal.
Okay, but you still didn't respond to the fact that you wouldn't mind.
I was only responding to that. I didn't want to debate the issue of Social Security privatization.
So would you mind if Donald Trump took your damn checks?
Not his Social Security checks.
Yes.
Not his.
Answer.
I can tell you what he told me this week.
I would mind if he did. Yes.
You would mind.
Yes, I would.
That's not what you told us earlier this week, Sarge. You said your little $169 you wouldn't give a fuck about.
I earned that check from the government by my blood and sweat.
Hey, look. Let me hold on. Sergeant just made a good point, and Sergeant, I'll mute you for a second. Listen, we shouldn't be talking about Social Security because Social Security is solvent, and somebody pointed out the other day that whenever I think you get your Social Security little payments through FICA or whatever, but the illegal, well, they ain't gonna say illegal, the immigrants that pay FICA is actually adding on top of that damn Social Security money. So there's plenty of money in Social Security. Elon Musk and them is lying about Social Security and it being solvent and needing help and people, 300-year-old people collecting. So that's bullshit. They're trying to get their hands. They're trying to get their hands into that damn pot. That's all they're trying to do. But Sarge, I open your
you believe that by illegal aliens participating in an illegal act by being involved in Social Security in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you believe they actually contribute more to Social Security than they take out of it? That's what
I didn't say that. I said that they contribute. I said that they contribute to Social Security. As a matter of fact, I remember now they said that they contribute $90 billion to that damn Social Security fund. So I mean, whenever you're talking about,
they can't get it. They can't get that.
They can't draw off of it. They pay into it, but they can't draw off of it. I didn't say anything what you just said, Sarge.
And let me add this. Elon Musk well, he didn't lie the entire time. When he said that this is such and such amount of illegal immigrants and immigrants who aren't U.S. citizens that have work visas and whatever they're here on, and they have a Social Security number. Look at that fraud. They have a Social Security number. Everybody who works has a Social Security number because that is how they extract the funds from your pay. And that just shows how stupid he is. Yes, they have a Social Security number because they pay into it. That is how the government takes the money.
It is illegal for an illegal alien to have a Social Security number. They have tax identification numbers.
May I finish?
They don't get Social Security numbers. They get tax identification numbers.
Let me finish. I said that's what he said. And then he also said those that are here of work visas who aren't citizens, they have Social Security numbers. That's what he said. And the fact of it is that's how they extract the money. They're paying into a system that they cannot they cannot take out. But he was trying to make it sound like illegals and non-citizens who are here on visa, that they're collecting Social Security, and that's not true. I said that's what he said.
All right, so that means that Tyrone is in effect rationalizing illegal aliens being involved with the Social Security system illegally and not being able to withdraw anything from it. So therefore, we are exploiting them, and that's just fine with Tyrone.
Okay, so hold on. Let me tell you what I'm saying. I didn't say that. I'm saying
on that bullshit.
I've got you on mute again. I'm saying that they're raising all this awareness about Social Security when Social Security is making money hand over foot. I mean, it's overflowing, but they're not telling you that part. The workers are paying into Social Security. The previous workers have paid into Social Security. Some people who have worked their entire life die early and they never received the benefits.
Yep.
So that's more money into Social Security. That system is solvent. And in addition to that, you have migrants that work here that pay into that same fucking system, which means that there is more money in there than these people are telling us about. And you, for somehow or another, is twisting my fucking words and trying to say I'm support for my. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they are fucking raising a lie about Social Security and the threat that Social Security is in. That is just all a fucking lie. That's what I'm saying, Sarge. I want you to be clear about that. Jesus Christ.
So the Social Security
I don't have a problem.
People have to pay into it and then can't get anything from it. Boy, you're a piece of work, Tyrone.
Okay, I don't know what you said.
Wait a minute, can I say something? I don't have. Okay, that's not what Tyrone said. I'm going to say I don't have a problem with them paying into Social Security, and even though they can't extract money.
I don't have a problem with them paying in.
I don't have a problem. I have a problem with them paying into it, and it might be using them. Sarge, don't give a damn about them because they use. But you know you don't, Sarge. But the thing is, I don't have a problem.
You don't get to speak for me, Elisa. Don't do that. I will speak for myself. You don't get to speak for me.
Okay,
Elisa,
you can't. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Tyrone, let me finish. I don't care. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak for you. But I should say I doubt that you care about this. My point is, allow me to finish it. If illegal immigrants, we're not talking about those here on visa. Illegal immigrants, if they're paying into Social Security, well, they're here illegally, they're able to work, whatever it is that they're doing, then, I mean, if that's what help the American citizens and help keep Social Security solvent, I don't have a problem with that. It might be using people, but the selfishness in me, I don't have a problem with that. Because if you're going to be here in this country and work,
yeah, it's a price they're paying.
I have a problem with that.
That's kind of like you're okay with slavery.
No,
okay,
Jabari, what is wrong with you?
No, it doesn't. You sound stupid.
I'm prepared to answer the question.
Okay, wait a minute.
So
just let me
Go ahead.
Shut up.
You don't have to guess.
Go ahead.
Just let me make this point right here.
Let me answer a point. I agree with her. I don't think an illegal should be able to benefit from the Social Security system. At the same time, I can recognize that while not believing they should be able to get any benefits, we should not be allow them to be exploited either. We should kick them the fuck out of the country. So they they can't use the system.
Okay, so the debt ain't an issue. Wait a minute, shut up. Wait.
That's the party of slavery.
So the debt ain't an issue.
The party of slavery.
Listen, you talking about a source of income. Then we talking this whole conversation about the debt and the fear of us being in debt and all this kind of bullshit. Now you're talking about people contributing to the goddamn system and you getting billions of fucking dollars from them, which means you don't give a fuck about the goddamn debt. If you really concerned about the debt and you know that you're illegally getting this money from these migrants, then if you want to fix the system, you can migrate that money or do whatever the fuck and aim it towards, instead of fucking putting tariffs on the goddamn world and calling everybody to be fucking broke trying to buy fucking goddamn toilet tissue. This is stupid because that is a source of income. That is a source of income that we know is going on. We know that the migrants are paying into the system and they're paying heavily into the goddamn system. So if you need money in the government, you got the money going to the goddamn government. Why not use that money to help the situation out instead of hurting the rest of the American people? That makes no goddamn sense. What you saying, Sarge? You want to kick them out? When you say you want to kick them out, you saying that you want to get rid of $90 billion motherfucking dollars. You idiot.
Tyrone, you sound like a descendant of slave
owners. Social Security is not exploit illegal
I am a
aliens.
descendant of slaves.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Slave owners.
Well, it's the word illegal. It's the word illegal alien that you're using, because what generally happens. Excuse me, sir. Can I talk without you interrupting me?
Illegal alien is a term used in the law.
Why are you the one use the motherfucker? I don't use it.
Listen, before you get shut up. Listen, before you get started, mama's boy, it's not even about illegal aliens no more, because Donald Trump is locking up fucking goddamn resident legal
That's what
residents.
I'm talking about, Tyrone.
So I mean,
exactly.
We're not even talking about illegals no more. I mean, people that are here legally, they fucking locking up.
And
Yeah.
and the fact that
Who you talking about? Who you talking about, Tyrone?
Who's illegal they locked up?
Who's specific? Yeah. Who's legal they
They
locked up?
deported a legal resident to fucking goddamn Venezuela. They've got legal residents down in that damn camp in Florida. They got legal residents that they picking up off the street. They got a video of a college student getting fucking who's here on a student fucking visa getting locked the fuck up.
Yeah, that means they can be revoked and they can be deported.
They're here legally, you
Especially if
idiot.
you
They're here legally.
You can't. And they can be deported.
They're here
That's
legally.
right, especially if you support Hamas. If you are supporting a terrorist organization, yes.
See, the whole reason why that don't work, Tyrone, the whole reason why that don't work that way is because America has jurisprudence and people have, rights. So even your legal resident, you have to take them to court, right? They got you have to. People have rights, and if you infringe on a person's right, they got a right to take you to court and get relief. So if that's like Tyrone, someone coming along and saying you a Crip member, and all of a sudden you get arrested with all the other rolling 60s in the neighborhood. You still get a date in court to prove you ain't no fucking rolling 60.
There you go.
Yep, that's why
they got you mixed up.
Hey, but who's this unknown caller?
The due process clauses in the United States Constitution, and so before you have to be served notice and an opportunity to be heard, then you need to go in front of a magistrate or court or something like that. But they're not doing that. They're just throwing them. They picked up a man who had a tattoo they thought was a gang tattoo, but it wasn't. It was a tattoo of something innocuous. I forget. And they just threw him in there.
His mom on one arm and his daddy on the other arm. That's what it was.
And then somebody had a soccer ball. And as we know, a lot of South Americans are very big into soccer. They're very big into soccer. And they said it was a gang tattoo.
Who's this unknown caller?
And the students whom they pulled off the street, they were not in support of Hamas. They were against genocide. I mean, the party lines that the people be repeating the Republican Party lines, they're not in support of Hamas.
Nobody supports Hamas. Who's this unknown caller line?
Hamas.
Yes, they are.
NYC. I had a question on pensions and assembly, right? So for anyone that knows, what happens to people that doesn't have a significant other and they got a pension and they die early? Where does that money go?
To the state, don't it?
It goes to the state if you have nobody claim your money. It holds up. It holds up for a while. Yeah.
You can't get both. You can't claim both. If the husband's pension is more, sound like if the wife's pension is more, she go with that. If his was more, she go with that. You can't claim both.
No, he said, where does the money go? He said, where does the money go?
And they die early, and they got a pension.
If they got no family members, bro, it goes to the state.
That's it. Goes to the state.
So for SARS that knows a lot of numbers, how much money is collected yearly from people's pensions that die early? There is
no money that's collected because there is no Social Security account. There's no money in it. It's IOUs. There's no money anyway.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Okay, hold on. See, Sarge just lied again. Like I just explained to y'all. I just tried to explain to y'all in detail why the Social Security system is solvent, because way more money get paid into it. Google it your damn selves. There is no IOUs that go into the goddamn Social Security. That's a lie, Sergeant. And you should know that's a fucking lie.
The Supreme Court upheld it because they said it's not a fund, it's not a pension fund, it is a tax. That is what the Supreme Court said about it. Otherwise, it would be unconstitutional. That's how they made it unconstitutional, by calling it a tax.
That's your idea.
He called and he asked about pension funds, not Social Security. So yeah, to answer your question, you can the spouse. If you have a spouse, she can claim one, and the rest goes to the state.
But I'm saying if they don't have nobody claiming it or having pension, right? Where does that go?
It goes to
the state.
to the
Yeah, it goes
state.
to the state.
Yes.
But as a matter of fact,
Right.
the
It
state,
does.
if you ain't got no will written out, and
Money
your
doesn't
family and your
exist.
shut the hell up, I'm talking. If you ain't got no will written out, and
The
your
guy living in
family
fantasy.
members is all distraught, all that shit go to the state too. The state collects a lot of shit.
That's what I'm talking
They
about.
do.
So, Sarge, give
Social
us
Security
a
too.
number of pension money that's collected throughout the United States every year. You saying we can't? We
A
don't
lot.
There is no money in the Social Security account.
He said pension,
So,
pension,
He
pension,
said
pension.
pension. He said pension.
Pay into a pension.
And
too,
stop
Sarge.
lying and saying there ain't no money in the Social Security. That is a fucking lie, Sarge.
Well, you better go take it up with Eric Roberts,
Sorry.
the John Roberts. Then,
He don't
because
want to
agree
tap
with
into. He don't want to talk about that pension money.
And he
He's
gets
co-
the rule on
they
it.
got
He's
pension
corrupt.
money.
Roberts is a
always-
corrupt judge, so I don't trust shit he say. So he's corrupt.
So,
Oh, well,
so
he's a
you,
corrupt judge now.
Well, he's
saying
been a
Social
corrupt
Security-
judge.
you don't want to
Social
touch.
Security from extinction
Sarge,
constitutionally.
you want to go to the Social Security.
And now all of a sudden you want to
Sarge,
dish on him?
You don't want to talk about the pension money, right? That's like, is this invincible?
Oh.
That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Oh, Jay
Well,
from
Jay,
New York.
if they don't have
If
a
you-
beneficiary name, then you know, and they're not married.
Yeah, like an
then it does-
underage child, if they were married, an underage child, or a child that has like extreme disability and can't work. If you don't have any of that it goes to the state.
Right, and so I asked Sarge to get a quota, get a number of every state, how much it collects, and people's pensions that doesn't get
I'm sure there's some
forwarded
data
to,
somewhere, Jay.
You know,
I'm
so
sure there is.
you can
I'm
use
sure
some of that
there is.
money, Sarge, and fix some of the things. And I wanted to say, as far as assembly, Sarge, I hope you are honest and acknowledge that any factories that's going to be built here will be assembly factories. It will not be most of them would not be no manufacturing from scratch. We know that a lot of stuff is already assembled here, and that's what you're going to get a lot of companies like Samsung and all those companies that you mentioned that you say they're coming back. All they're going to do is expand on assembly because they still trying. There's wiggle room for them when they manufacture in another country but assemble here. It gives them a little break on there, but they still going to sell it expensive. So it doesn't make sense. We still going to pay something for something that could have been left alone, and it would have just continued, or it could have been fixed a different way. So again, if you saying that there's going to be factories all over the United States, I say it will be assembly factories assembling what's already put together. There's not going to be too many manufacturing factories coming back here.
I think it would be a combination of the two, depending upon which company you're speaking of. It'll be a combination of manufacturing and assembly. As to what the percentage of is either way or the other, it will depend upon the product being assembled and or manufactured.
So you see what Apple did, right?
I
I
agree with you, Jay.
And I don't know the precise ratios of the companies that are involved, so I'll admit I cannot answer it.
Let's go back to 2017, Donald Trump's first term. He started the threatening tariffs and all that. And Apple, what they did was they opened up the assembly line here, and they didn't lose. China is the biggest place where they got their factories, and they got all the manufacturing pieces, and they put everything, the frame together. Then they send all that in parts, the chips and everything, and they put it in California, and they just put it together. Assembly. So what they're going to do, those companies that don't have assembly factories, they're going to get assembly factories because it's still going to be cheaper for them to have it manufactured in China.
Okay.
Exactly. They're not going to be opening up no factory to start from the ground up to build a refrigerator and a dryer. And
Hey, some of them ain't even gonna do that, y'all. Trump's so stupid, and Trump supporters are so stupid for supporting him. Trump's so stupid, he just wants you to say you're going to do it, and you get the tariff taken off of your ass. That's how stupid Trump supporters are. They actually think this motherfucker's doing something for them, and he just posting them up, making them look stupid, making them look like he doing something just so his term is easy, and he got y'all food in the coat.
All
Well,
this coming
let me
from a
do a
man
little.
who supported.
I am not
All
a
this coming from a
production
man who
I am
supported
not a
Joe
production
Biden, who was
manager at
mentally
any of these
incompetent.
firms. I am not going to make a claim as to how much is going to be either assembled on site or going to be imported from overseas. What I am going to say is the production managers and the production executives are going to determine whether it will be cheaper to manufacture it in the United States or import it from overseas, and they will act accordingly.
Sarge,
No,
Well,
they
we
don't.
already know that, Sarge.
They just
If-
don't act like they
If that
want
was
to do
the
it.
case, Sarge, listen. I'm not a master economist. I'm listening to the nonpartisan or the people that are not dealing with politics or feelings. They're doing calculations, like I spoke earlier. What they're saying is that even if we get everything done here and pack it from scratch, even if that, let's say that was to happen, because it's not going to happen, but let's just say, okay, you saying it's going to happen, it's still going to cost more money to buy those products here. Guess what? Are they going to pay the American worker that manufactures it from scratch, assembles it, and sells it? They're going to give them the fair wage where they live, not a minimum wage. We're talking about paid the way they're supposed to. And then if they don't do that, even if they don't do that, they're still going to bring the prices up, Sarge. It's going to cost more for materials and everything else they need to manufacture, because it's not going to be manufactured from magic. You need materials, so you need to order materials. If those materials are being done here, they're charging more, Sarge. And most likely they're importing those pieces from somewhere else. So again, even though the illusion will be there, we're still going to pay more. Period.
And guess
All
who?
this,
Guess
all
who?
this all this coming from a man who supported Kamala Harris, who
Shut
raised
up.
$2 billion and ended up
And
$20 million
guess
in debt.
and
That's
guess who? Guess
irrelevant.
who?
Why do you keep bringing up irrelevant?
That's Jabbar. That's Jabbar. That's the way his brain works. But guess who? Let me guess who? Donald
That
Trump.
was good, James.
Guess.
That was good.
Oh, I forgot about Antoinette. Y'all hold on for a second. I forgot about Antoinette. Listen, but guess who Donald Trump did not put tariffs on? What was one of the countries?
Russia.
What's up, Antoinette?
Russia didn't sanctions, man. What are you talking about?
Man, Sarge, shut the fuck up, man.
No. Hold on. Let me educate.
That don't get no worse than that.
Okay, hold on. Shut up. Listen, here. This is why I do Google before I open my goddamn mouth. Even though they got sanctions, the United States and Russia still trade. I know they have sanctions, but when you have sanctions, that's all. That ain't a blanket sanction on every goddamn thing. So here's the numbers right here. The United States and Russia still engage in trade, though it's significantly reduced from previous levels due to sanctions, what Sarge is alluding to, and his ongoing conflict with Ukraine, with the total goods between the two countries estimated about $3.5 billion in 2024. The reduced trade volume of U.S.-Russia trade has plummeted, with the total goods trading reaching about 3.5. I just said that. Sanctions impact. Okay, the U.S. exports to Russia in 2024, the U.S. goods exported to Russia was about $560 million, a decrease from 12% from 2023, and the U.S. imports from Russia was total about $3 billion in 2024. So look, the United States is still paying Russia way more than we get from goddamn. So sorry. The
trade disparity.
Yeah, the sanctions did have an impact on certain things, but not everything. So stop lying to people. You should know better.
Russia,
Yeah,
dummy.
No, sanctions are separate from tariffs, right? That's something separate. So
What do you think they are?
Y'all don't forget about Sister Antoinette, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Antoinette. Let Antoinette go. I'm sorry, Antoinette. Go ahead, Antoinette.
That's okay. I have a question, and Sarge, if you answer, please don't holler and scream. But now, with Trump being a follower of Hitler's, do you see where he's going to have us, the people, and bread lines and, in the poorhouse? And in wars, which I see, excuse me, Sarge.
Let her finish. Goddamn, bro.
And in the poorhouse, because to me, that's where I see us going.
You finished?
Okay, I'm done.
All right, now you do notice that I cannot answer the question in the manner you put it to me, since I do not agree with your premise that he's a follower of Hitler. So, absent that possibility or that likelihood or that actuality, I do not agree with that premise. Remember, Adolf Hitler restored the economy of Germany through massive rearmament and public sector employment. So the economy of Germany was booming under Adolf Hitler after he took power as Chancellor and Führer of the Third Reich.
So we should just let Trump do whatever the fuck he wants.
If I'm going to follow, will you let me finish now?
Clarify, he did it by declaring war.
To its logical conclusion,
Just
I would
let
have
Trump
to
hit it,
say
man.
that if Donald Trump follows Adolf Hitler's model, see, this is why I got to raise my voice. If I have to follow Adolf Hitler's model, Trump is going to restore the economy of the United States like Hitler did.
I told you. Just let Trump hit it from the
Okay,
back.
you sound like a goddamn fool. I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. I don't give a shit if Hitler farted and found a fucking rainbow goddamn path to the goddamn moon and a good goddamn economy. He was murdering motherfuckers in ovens. He was committing genocide and he was trying to overtake the world. Fuck that economy. Whenever you're oppressing people, Sarge, you can't say that, you fucking idiot. What is wrong with you?
Well, OC did say he was a Nazi.
Dumbass, what was the question that was put to me, you goddamn idiot?
He's a Nazi.
What's the matter with you? You didn't ask the question, she did.
He may not.
But sorry,
hold on. Hold on.
Sorry, please, without screaming. Trump is destroying the financial system. You know, with all these tariffs and everything, look at what he's doing. And when he says us, they say us, they're not talking about you and I. They're talking about them. They're talking about the billionaires and things. They're not talking about common folk.
Okay, you put the question to me as he's going to ruin the economy because he's a follower of Adolf Hitler. That was the implication. Now, Hitler ruined the economy of Germany because he took them to a war that he could not win. That was ruinous to Germany in every respect, including its economy. Donald Trump seems to be wanting to keep us out of wars.
But how do you think that
you're not telling the whole
Hitler
truth.
was able to do that? Hitler deceived
By
the
saying he's
people
going to
just
take
like-
Greenland? Is
Excuse
that
me.
how he's keeping us out of wars?
Excuse me,
I'd like to
just
answer
like-
that question too, if I may.
Well, can I finish my statement?
Go ahead.
But
go ahead.
is that not the same thing that Trump is doing? He's deceiving people into thinking that he's this rich money maker, where people forget that he is a failed businessman. Look at how many times he has declared bankruptcy, and he's doing it now to this country under his leadership.
All right.
6 times, 2 failed.
All right. How about if we do this then, Antoinette? How about we do this? How about we acknowledge the possibility that he may have a ruinous impact on the economy without comparing him to Adolf Hitler? Can we do that? Let's just leave Hitler out of the equation.
Well, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to do that?
Again,
Because it hurts your feelings? Because it hurts your feelings? Because it hurts your feelings. You butthurt about it.
I am going to respond.
That's not the facts, though. You just, I feel this certain way, so I don't want you to bring it up. That ain't how the facts work, nigga. That ain't how. Hey, listen, I just want to take Hitler out of it. I just want to take Hitler out of it. Well, he did it, dog. That's the best example we got right there. That's because Hitler is the best example we got, dumbass.
All right, guys, I've had fun tonight, but listen, YouTube, I'm getting ready to shut y'all down, and y'all got about 20 people on this line, so y'all can keep talking, and YouTube, you can call in and join the conversation. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sister Elisa, and everybody that called in, but I got to get off here, but y'all can keep talking. I'm opening the lines, though.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
Good show, Tyrone.
All right. Y'all, you can finish yelling, Sarge.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah, like I
Tyrone.
said, I think it's entirely possible, and I don't think it will happen, but I think it's possible Trump can ruin the economy